Hello, everyone. This is Joel Tatum of Joel and Randy's Texas Tea, welcoming you to another episode of, well, of course, Joel and Randy's Texas Tea. Randy's back, bitches. Everybody clap.
Let the church say amen.
I got Miss Randy to my side. I got on the other side of me the cute and adorable Mr. Chris Purvis. Say hello to everybody, Mr. Chris Purvis.
My name is Chris, Mr. Chris if you're nasty.
Mr. Chris if I'm nasty? Okay.
Yeah.
Or if anybody else
Chris
is nasty.
Chris Purvis doesn't exist.
Okay. Oh wow.
I think they have a prescription for that.
I think so. And that came from our lovely, but didn't wear heels today, which kind of pisses me off. Miss Pinky.
Resident
Miss Pinky.
See the heel.
Mm-hmm.
The
Miss Pinky's in the house. So let's get down to business, girls, because Miss Randy.
Hello.
You have been gone for 2 weeks. I hope you enjoyed those 2 weeks off.
I did. I enjoy myself to a certain extent at home, but damn, girl, 2 weeks is a long time.
What did you do for 2 weeks, girl?
Oh, this and that. I went resale shopping, and I judged people on the internet.
Ooh.
Trolling. That sounds like a typical day of Miss Randy. How many people did you read, girl?
I didn't really judge anybody on the internet. I'm not that kind of person that goes on the internet and talks shit.
You got on the internet and said, "You're going to hell. You're going to hell."
Oh.
Mostly because she doesn't know how to comment yet. We're still working on that.
I don't do
she
that.
hasn't
That's
taken
not
that
my
class
shtick.
yet.
Not at all. But I enjoy time with family. And, girl, there ain't much to do in the town that I live in.
Are we going to get to meet your parents one of these days?
I would love it if you'd meet my parents. Well, not my parents.
Your mom?
No, my father's very, very hospitable.
Mm-hmm.
He's Southern. He will never let you know he hates you.
Mm-hmm. That's the South word.
That's the
Like
South
a
thing.
good Southern gentleman.
Yes.
good Southern
and my
gentleman.
mother will love you.
Which is just like a good
But my
Southern
mother
gentle
will
lady.
love you.
So your
trust
dad's
me.
going to hate me.
My
but your
dad's not
mom's-
going to hate you.
He's just going to
But I'll never know
secretly
if he
think you're a
hates you.
sissy.
You have to understand Southern people.
I'm already stressing out
You're a
about
poof.
No, you're
I'm going to have a panic attack.
you're welcome to our home. Always. You ain't gonna know if you're hating or not.
He's going to show up
And I'm
looking
not
like
gonna
Joe
ask you
Dirt and
questions.
push it up.
And I would like to say, as the person of color at the table, being invited to Southern homes is always such a hoot for. I always have a good time because I never know how they're gonna. First of all, as soon as I walk in the door, everybody turns and looks.
Oh,
There's
really?
that look. Oh,
He's black.
there's a black person in the house. Look at that. Okay.
You experienced that.
Not all the time. Not all the time, but it has happened in the past where I have stepped into a friend's house for dinner or a social event or that kind of thing, and I'll be the only black person in the house. And to be quite honest, it never really bothered me that much. But I always liked the looks when I would walk through the party or when I'd be sitting at the dinner table and the interesting questions I would get.
Oh, like what?
Like, I'm the representative for every black person on the planet.
Well, that's like being a gay person at a party.
Mhm.
You represent the
It
whole
kinda is.
gay world.
Yeah, exactly.
And I actually
it's
don't
like-
mind those questions because it's like, yeah, I'm representing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, I love being the only gay at the party because I always have fun when I'm the only.
I think it's harder
More for me.
when I would, the few times that I have brought like someone home that I was maybe seeing or something like that. I think the weird questions of who's the husband or who's the wife, which I'm like, why are you asking that? We are
Like,
two
that
men.
that defeats
But
the purpose.
There's no point
Right?
in asking that question, which would,
Nobody wants to play those games.
and I'm like, so what do y'all do in the bedroom?
Exactly, and you know when they ask
If
that
y'all
question,
tell me what y'all do in the bedroom, I'll tell you what we do in the bedroom. Otherwise, don't ask me that question.
when people ask me that question, I always say, "What about homosexuality do you not get?"
Like, I don't think you would quite understand.
Because that's the basic. Homosexuality means like sexes
Homo.
together.
Right. The root base of homo is.
And
the
so
same.
I don't understand why you're bringing a woman into this equation. I have nothing against women. I just don't want one in my bed.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want one in my
I don't know.
Right,
She's
bed.
in
but
my
in any
bed.
relationship,
She has to wear
there's
clothes.
going to be one who's more and generally there's going to be one who's a little bit more dominant and one who's a little bit more submissive. And I think that they're just referencing.
So here's the question that I want to ask on
Because
that.
I'm about to ask the same damn question.
Here's the question I'm going to ask. when you are introduced as a couple, whose name always goes first?
I don't.
Let me state
It's
for the record.
alphabetical.
And I have in the past.
It's
I've never been a
alphabetical.
couple.
You just said that.
I've never been
What's
in
the
a
most-
couple
Mhm.
situation, so I have no prior experience.
But
Mhm.
that's generally
I
how
think
it's listed
It's.
on most things.
I think that's
The
an.
practice is whoever.
That's a non-question.
Mhm.
Because it
No,
depends.
no,
No, it's
well,
not a non-question.
it's not a
That's an
non-question.
introduction, because if it's a wedding thing, if it's a Mr. and Mrs.,
Mhm.
If I'm
It's-
going,
Okay, I feel like
if
We're
I'm
trying
going,
to overlap.
Yes.
Let's have one answer at a time.
Okay.
yes, sir.
I'm
So,
just saying.
well, I think what I'm really asking is the fact that when you are introduced, do people always use your partner's
it
name
depends on what social
first
setting you're in.
who's familiar?
every time?
If
that
you're going, if
Mhm.
I'm going to a situation where it's
Mhm.
my partner's friend, he's probably going to introduce himself. It's going to be him and me.
Mhm.
If it's my friends, it's going to be me and him.
Mhm.
Right.
Because when David White and I were on a cruise, and we ended up at a table. David White.
You know what? I made up the damn song, and y'all didn't wait for me.
She missed the step,
You
y'all.
had a brain fart.
We've had,
She's getting back
girl, we
into her
haven't had
groove.
you for 2 weeks, so we just that's what you get.
Anyway, y'all sang the song. That bell has been rung. Anyway, continue,
Mhm.
please.
Because when David
sorry.
White and I were on a cruise, we ended up at a table with a bunch of other couples. And the first day that we sat down, it was naturally assumed that we were a couple.
Oh, right.
And we, even though we were best friends and I loved them to death, and I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was amusing. But every time we would come to dinner after that, it was Joel and David.
Mm-hmm.
And we were always introduced as Joel and David, and I'm like, why am I the first?
Is David more reserved?
Oh, no.
I mean, in a setting, would you be the
Let me
first
tell you
to
something.
speak
I
to a
can't wait for
stranger?
y'all. No, let me tell you something. I can't wait till y'all meet David White because reserved is not a word that you would ever use when it
Well-
comes to David White.
But in
Well-
addressing a stranger, like if
Exactly.
you're at the
That's
table
what
with a
he's saying.
stranger, were
Immediately.
you more
Mhm.
boisterous
Immediately.
than he was?
Yeah.
Like at the table, did you strike up conversation before he did?
I think I did.
So that's why.
Yeah, I think I did.
Strictly just them
Mhm.
knowing you 1st and you being the first one to broach.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
agree
break
with
the
you.
ice
I agree
and
with
the
you.
silence
Pinky. It's
is
psychological.
probably why.
Mhm.
But what do you think?
I don't know.
You just had something to say, girl, and then
Chris
you lost
thinks-
your bird.
I think it's I think it's an irrelevant thing. Like
No,
it's
I mean,
just-
I think
it's
on a
completely
lot
situational. Why
Mhm.
why you're first?
Because I feel like that
what
there's
Bill
a-
said.
I
With
feel like
Men.
Expound,
men.
please, because I'm intrigued.
I
Mhm.
think it's just there's so many different variables.
Mhm.
It's why. I mean, who knows? It's,
Mhm.
You're trying to you're kind of making a mountain out of a molehill. In a
Mhm.
way.
Well, I think
No,
he's
I don't-
making a subject for a show, and that's what we do.
I feel like
Well, in a setting where you have
I
a lady
feel like
and men,
I'm
it's
just.
gentlemen.
I don't
names
think it's a
with
mountain out of a
gentleman to it.
molehill. I think it's more like a oil spot into a pimple. I really don't think that it's a big deal. I just think it's more in lines of the idea
It's
of
interesting.
He
the
was
social
asking a
we were
Okay,
talking
logical
yeah, so
question.
the sub-dom conversation that we
Right.
just had and everything else.
Right.
So assuming that someone introduces the other person before they introduce you, does that make them the dominant person in
or
the
who they perceive
relationship?
as
Do
the
they perceive them
patriarch
as yes?
of that relationship.
Which is why the husband-wife conversation always
Right.
seems to pop up. So
Right.
so I just think I just thought it was odd that someone always that if I were in a relationship with someone and someone said, "Hey, it's Daryl and Joel," and I'm like, "Okay,
Would you be offended though?
no,
I mean, it
not
could just
really.
be
I mean,
like-
it's Daryl and Joel, so why would I be
I
offended?"
wonder if there's something just because your name is one syllable. I
Mhm.
wonder if one syllable names come
Mhm.
before two
That'd be
syllables. It
interesting
might
to
just
look
be
up.
easier to say Joel and David versus David.
That
and
could
Joel.
be.
I don't know.
That could be, but
Hmm.
I watched a video by the way, if y'all are out there listening, and especially for the people at the table, go on YouTube and watch Michael Henry videos because they're hilarious.
Who's that?
Michael Henry is a gay comedian who does a series of videos with vignettes in them that talks about gay issues in the gay community, but they're so hilarious.
Oh,
so look
okay.
up Michael Henry on YouTube and watch his videos because they are hilarious. And in fact,
Is
after
he
the
going to
show,
pay us some money now?
He's not sponsoring this video.
He's not sponsoring.
He can.
He can.
Call us.
And if Michael, if you're somewhere in LA and you happen to bounce upon this show,
I hope you do.
Which I hope you do.
And tell your damn friends.
And tell your damn friends.
Is he hot?
Google.
You know I have to ask that question.
I know. I'm happy you did.
I'm the
Google it,
Paris
Google
Hilton
it.
of the group.
I
There you
would
go.
like to say that he's
You're
cute.
Prettier than Paris Hilton.
But I'm dumb like Paris Hilton too.
I would like to say
You're
that
not
he's
dumb.
cute.
You're not dumb.
And because he's funny, there's a certain level of hotness that goes
Right,
with
and
that.
attraction.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But if we're talking gay hot, no, he's not gay hot.
Well,
But
wait,
he's
what's
very
gay
cute.
hot?
He's not stereotypically,
He's not stereotypically
quote unquote hot.
Yeah. With a
No,
fantastic.
I'm just thinking hot is subjective.
It's
So-
hot
It's
as
super
kill.
subjective.
No, I was just thinking
Mhm.
hot is subjective.
No, it is. No. Yes,
So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I find him hot.
the guys I
Exactly.
find
seen
hot,
the man.
I don't are not typically.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
been known to not care what a man's face looks
Well,
like.
you know what?
If something
Meat.
else looks good.
Right.
So,
But I would like to, we as gay men, we've been
We're out.
bombarded with so many issues of what the perfect gay man is supposed to look like.
Uh-huh.
And, as Pinky points to
Of course,
himself,
Pinky's
Pinky
gonna point
points to
himself.
himself. Well, he does have great hair.
he does have great hair. And he's got some nice arms.
Yeah,
He
does
could
have
work a
nice
little
arms.
bit on the six-pack, but he has some nice arms.
No, you don't want a six pack. That's so
You know,
like
I
fucking
don't-
2000.
You know,
My
I don't think
sternum
it's,
sticks out too much. Like I actually have like a bigger frame than I'm actually meant for. I
Mhm.
Your
think.
sternum.
So, like,
I never understood
the
what the big
top
deal
part-
about a six-pack was.
Like, this part sticks
Mhm.
out.
She ain't got a
As he
six-pack. She got those dime-sized. Actually, that's
Your
a less.
sternum-
Oh, by the way,
She's
Like
got
this
those
part
dime-sized baby
makes it
nipples.
impossible.
Ooh, girl,
This-
baby nipples freak me
like,
out. Ooh,
this
baby
goes
nipples. Ooh,
in too
damn.
far for me to have a six pack.
mhm,
So you're a mutant,
mhm.
basically.
He's
Like, I have extra-
adorable.
Do you have superpowers?
Ladies and gentlemen,
But I
he
can't
literally
show you.
just lifted his shirt and
I
showed
can't
us
show
the
you.
smoothest skin I've ever. He doesn't have an ounce of hair on that chest.
That's because he shaves.
Does-
He shaves his
No.
armpits.
No, that's not
Your
shaved.
armpits.
Nope.
You can
You
tell
don't
when
shave your
Oh.
armpits?
They look shaved.
you can tell when
No,
someone
don't. There's
shaves
no razor
because
bumps in there whatsoever.
you can tell when someone shaves because they have the little bumps when they shave.
I've
There's
I've never
no
seen
bumps.
hairless man armpits.
Mm-hmm. He is hairless.
And the chest,
She's
the
a
belly,
hairless
and the
beast.
legs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Huh? What?
I said she's a hairless beast, apparently.
Fuzzy Wuzzy, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
Fuzzy had no hair.
Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Mm-mm.
That motherfucker was not fuzzy.
Slick as the day is long.
See, I couldn't be a bear because I'm big, but I'm not hairy.
But Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
Bear.
Fuzzy Wuzzy may have
I
been,
mean,
but
to-
those bitches won't let me in.
I don't
Um,
know if bears have to be hairy, do they?
No, they,
Yeah,
no,
that's
they
what
don't
makes
have.
I
them
think it's
bears,
more
is
like
that they're
They're
hairy.
they're
if, they're
supposed
not,
to be hairy.
if they're not hairy, then they're just a chub. But it's really a
But no-
psychological definition.
Wait,
But
but bears
honestly-
aren't
however you
necessarily-
identify.
Wait, bears aren't necessarily chubs.
But do you want to be
No.
known
Do I
as
want
a
to be a bear?
Do you want to be known as a chub?
I
I just don't like the term chub.
I'm not
Wait, what
fond
am
of
I?
it either.
Am I an otter?
I think you're an otter. I
if,
think,
if
yeah,
you
I
identify
think-
with
I
that,
don't
that
know.
sect of gay
Mm.
people,
Are you
Mhm.
into
SECT.
big
Well,
guys?
I thought it was body type.
Are you into big
No,
guys?
no, no, no.
but it's furry. They're
It's
little
body
guys who are
type.
I
furry.
thought
Oh,
body
body
type.
type.
Body type, yeah.
They're little guys, but they're furry.
I
Are
Like
think-
you an
otters.
otter?
But I thought otters were short, hairy guys. You're not that short. What are you? 5'9"? 5'10"?
Well, what am I then?
5'10",
But
5'11"?
you'd still be an otter because of your frame.
Yeah.
Like, there are long
I
otters.
think
Yeah.
you're
I'm not
a
a
human
twink.
being.
No. Oh.
And I can't stand that. Don't
Mm-mm.
call me a twink.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you're
No,
not
you're not a twink.
I am a chaser.
You're
Mm-hmm.
not young
I'm a
enough.
twink.
Wait, no, there's
I'm
a
a
new
trapper.
word though. It's a twink. It's something. Oh, muscle twink. It's like a.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? There's a
A
word
gym
for it.
rat.
No, I'm gonna look this up.
Oh, don't.
But no, I mean, I
We
can't
should
stand
not.
twink.
We should not have all these labels any goddamn way.
But it helps us identify. It's all part of our underwritten
Can you-
history and
I
we
still
have to
wanna know
identify
what it
and
is.
go to the same path.
But Randy,
All right,
you.
we're all talking on top of each other again.
But Randy, you do.
No, we are. We have to. Make
Yeah,
sure
that's
that
true.
we keep-
Yeah, no, we're good.
But Randy, you have to understand something. Gay men aren't about labels. We were about labels when we had to protect ourselves.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we had to use labels when we had to protect ourselves.
Yeah,
And we've gotten
that's
used
true.
to the idea of labels. So it's just a part. It's just an ingrained part of who we are as gay
It's
men.
a comfort zone.
It's
it
a comfort
helps us be a
zone,
part of
yeah.
the pack.
It,
No,
it
I
gives
think
us a
it's
bit
just
of
fun.
safety.
It's
Yeah.
just fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I take fun in it. I don't
Well,
know if I'm a
we haven't
silver
had to- we haven't
daddy,
had to do
it's
that.
a twunk.
a twunk.
A twunk.
A hunk and a twink.
Yeah, it's
A twunk.
it's like a twink who's like.
See, I think of a
muscular.
chunky
It's
twink.
like a muscular twink is a twink.
A
No,
twunk.
I'm
You're a
not.
twunk.
No.
I'm not.
No, because I'm not
I'm
an
looking at
airhead
your arm.
bimbo.
I'm
not
looking
that
at your arm.
muscular.
Well, you don't.
You're adorable, though.
I have great arms,
Mm.
but
Thank
like,
Wow,
I'm not a
that's
twink.
adorable.
I don't have any identification with what comes with being a twink. Like,
Miss Pinky, I'm gonna be
do a lot of
honest.
different
I
things that
honestly
twinks
do think of you as a twunk. You are hairless. You do have muscles,
No, I mean, yeah.
and you're young. So I
but the
think of you
association
kind of
there is more like bimbo
yeah.
as a twink, and I don't associate with the bimbo part of that. and
But you're kind of a bimbo.
unintelligible-
But you're
You
kind
know
of a
what?
bimbo.
Let's move on to the
The
next
parallels.
subject because,
Thank
girl, we are lingering too long on this shit.
Did you have to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to. So let's speak about some gay news. Joe, what you got?
Gay news.
I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What you
Well,
got, Jerry?
Hot off the sausage press.
on a serious note, and this is the only one of the few times that I don't like to get serious on this show because I like to have a good. I feel like being gay should be about having a good time.
I'm intrigued though, but
What's gonna come out of your
This
mouth?
happened in Alabama
Oh shit.
when
Oh,
a 14-year-old.
ain't nothing good happening.
No,
in Alabama,
nothing good
girl.
ever happens in Alabama. And for all you gays living in Alabama, I feel for you, girl. Come move to
Well,
Houston.
wait, is Texas any better?
Oh,
Are
we're gonna
you
talk about
fucking
that.
Yeah.
kidding?
We're gonna talk about that in
Thank
just
you.
a second. But there was a
We gonna hear this.
14-year-old who was bullied so mercilessly in his school that he killed himself.
Oh.
Now,
Oh.
his mother also says that he suffered from depression at the same time. So
Well, yeah.
that might have been the thing that caused the suicide, so to speak. But being
Well, the
bullied,
bullying
But
was
being
the trigger.
depression,
Yeah.
The bullying was the
The
trigger.
depression probably
Well,
came
yeah.
or stemmed out of being bullied.
Mhm,
There's no reason
exactly.
to say that, like, if
Yeah.
he had been
Mhm.
grown up and flourished in a
But
society that
I
accepted
kind
him
of
and saw him
found
as
the
human.
idea of the school suddenly deciding that they were going to rally around and like, oh well, he killed himself. We can't have that. Blah blah. Well, what did you do?
Where were you?
Where were
in
you
the first-
before that?
Right.
Wait, what is the school doing?
Well, you know,
Saving
Because
You
kids.
know they had one of those goddamn candlelight vigils that everybody
They're
shows
saving
up to
face.
just because they want to be online
yeah, exactly.
and they want to be on television.
Because I don't want people
I
to
don't-
think that it's
I think I
a
find
hate
those.
culture.
I
Mhm.
find the candlelight vigils to be disingenuous.
Yeah, exactly.
I always have. I always will. Do you know anybody who has joined in a candlelight vigil?
Several.
I mean, that's
After
not my
the
style.
Orlando shooting, I was at the
And are they
Montrose
nuts?
candlelit vigil.
Oh, you're a little nuts. So I don't know.
Well,
It's just a way of like showing like
respect.
when you see it,
Mhm.
like when you think of Harvey Milk's funeral procession and things like that, and you want to be a part of that, like you can never actually have that with that mentality.
You want to be
Because
a part of that.
Yeah, because it shows
So-
everyone else who's not a part of it. It shows the community that caused that around you. Like we are here. There are so many of us
Yes.
that you know somebody
Right.
standing in the
That's
crowd.
Harvey
It's
Milk.
impo-
But see, that's Harvey Milk.
But every single one of these incidences should be
This
handled
young
like
man, these people are rallying around
He
this
didn't even
young
have-
man.
that. Exactly.
Well, hold on. They're rallying around this young man, and they're probably part of the problem in the first place.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. I
They
agree.
raised their badass children to be bullies, and then they show up at a fucking candlelight vigil.
Can I ask
Yeah,
you
I
something?
just find that offensive.
I have a question for you.
Anything.
How would you feel if they didn't do anything?
Oh, I would feel fine.
What would you
No, I
want?
would.
What do you want? What would you want them to do?
I would want them to figure out how to raise. Well, it's too late. They raise their kids like animals, making fun of people and destroying people
I will say that parents probably don't
emotionally.
know that's
So
happening.
there's nothing they can do. I don't want people to be fake, and I find a lot of those candlelight vigils to be about somebody else's narcissistic attitude that they're a part of something bigger, and they're just not.
I never
You're
had
not
that.
a part of that.
I never thought that before, but that's interesting. I
And-
never.
You're
got that
not a
impression.
part of anything
But I would like to say this. I
bigger.
kind of agree with Randy on this. The thing is that what did you do beforehand
Exactly.
to prevent this?
Nothing.
You could have prevented this. And instead, you waited until after this child has ended
Committed
his life.
suicide.
And by the way, it takes a lot to end a
Oh,
life.
yes.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to die.
No.
Everybody wants to live. They want to live as long as they want to. There are people who want to live to be 1,000 years old. People want to live.
And you can want to kill yourself and not be able to do it.
And death
Absolutely.
is the final straw.
Yeah.
And to take your own life when these are kids. And look,
Well-
I'm going to say this. And I know I just said, and these are kids.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that taking your own, please talk. If you are out there, find resources, find help. There are hotlines. There's all kinds, especially in the gay
Was his
community.
mother? And not that it matters, but it may matter. No, it doesn't matter. Was his mother a single mother?
I don't know. I don't know.
Was she too
Was she
busy?
aware it was happening?
I don't.
No, she may have been too busy to actually have time to talk to him, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming her.
No.
I'm just
I don't
saying
think you are.
I'm just saying.
How many of those bullies' moms, though, could...
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's really psychologically
Exactly.
potentially more plausible that the bullies' parents were single parents and they didn't have enough in the home area of enrichment and didn't have that monitoring.
Or the bullies were
You've never
abused.
met my next door neighbor when I was a child. His father.
No, I mean, it can totally...
Jim-
it trickles down like that.
Jim's son Randy was a bully, and he was my next door neighbor, and he was the meanest motherfucking kid on
And
the block.
I just think it
And
matters
he
as
whooped
much as they were.
everybody's ass, and he had a daddy, and his daddy was
He was a bully
Jim,
at home.
and he beat his wife. And see, bullies begat bullies, and so, but I understand what you're saying.
It's a lack
Honestly-
of love at home on both ends,
Yeah,
potentially.
Well, I wouldn't say that. No, I'm not saying that the single mother. I'm just saying that that woman probably didn't have time to understand what was going on in her child's life. And depression is clinical, by the way. There is clinical depression out there. I have it. I don't take medication for it, but I take medication. Anyway,
Medicated.
I'm a happy girl, but no, there's a lot going on when it comes to depression, and bullies don't help.
No.
So
They don't help.
So
High school can be
I
hard,
don't mean
super hard.
and I don't mean any harm when I say this. And Randy, I hope you don't take any harm when I say this. I don't understand why we're asking whether or not she was a single mother or not. That's not.
I was curious because
you have
may had a
bullies who
father
have
to go
two.
to.
You have bullies who have two parents, and this is what happened.
No.
When you raise your children, when you put and we've talked about this before. When children become the center of the universe in a relationship, they can do no wrong.
Oh no,
They literally can do no wrong.
no.
Yeah.
That's
so
not where I was going there.
yeah.
Joel. Where I was going was simply this. If he had a father to talk to about it, his father may have advised him to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was a kid, and I had one bully, thank you, Lord, in my life. And my father said, son, you got to take care of him. And so I went to school the next day, and I decided I'm going to take care of him.
Oh shit!
But
What did you do?
I was
But
ready to fight him. But I was
will-
ready to fight him to stop it. If he didn't shut up, I was going to whoop his ass. I could have whooped his ass,
I think that's
suppose.
the solve for the
I
problem.
think-
Well, it is a solve, actually, because bullies only know one thing. Bullies.
And there's
You bully a bully, or you take care of a bully.
there's one thing they don't know is love and acceptance.
No, and
there's
they're
a reason
not
they're
going to
bu-
find it from you.
There's a reason they're bullying. It's because there's a void, and they're filling that with negativity.
Well, I'm going to
and-
fill your
and
ass with a
resentment.
fist, because that's all you know.
Well,
and I'm not talking. You can't, as a child, go to another person and another kid who's a bully and say,
I love
"Well, you know what? You need to go home and talk. You need to go home and talk to your mother, or you can talk to my mother, and she'll fix all." No, you need to get your fist together and.
I think that
Fix ass.
that mentality is the problem right there.
Well, guess what? That's
Because
the
if I'm
only
going to
thing
put my
that
fist in your
fixes
face
it.
because of what I believe and what I grew up with, then I'm going to put my fist in your face and because
that's the
you're
only
gay.
thing that
But
fixes
in a
the
way,
bully.
that's
you're
the
gay. It's
language
just
that a bully
perpetuating-
understands. That's the only. I mean, I think
That is the only
in a
language
way,
they
that's the only
understand.
way
You
you
have to scare a bully into, and I did, and the moral of the
stood up to
story,
him, you
not
didn't
the
beat his
moral of the
ass.
story. No, I stood
But
up
you
to
stood
him,
up
and
to
guess
him.
what he
I think
said?
you're kind of saying a bully as a bully because it's a cry for help or something. They want to be. They want
because they have to be tough. They have
They
this
really want,
constant
like,
survival.
they're really
Oh, I know
looking for
what he's
acceptance.
They're
saying.
constant in survival mode.
I know what you're saying, but when I stood up to him, he was like, I didn't think you'd show up. And I
Did you
said,
have to
here I
hit him,
am.
You didn't have to put hands on him. You just had to show him
I didn't.
that you demanded
Exactly.
his respect.
I said, I showed up. So what are we going to do? And he goes, well, I don't want to fight anymore. Do you? And I said, no.
See?
I don't want to fight. I
That's
didn't want to
language
fight in
and
the first
acceptance.
place. But you're not going to talk to me like that anymore. And, and he said, oh, okay. And
Good
so
for you, Randy.
It stopped. But I've never had
No,
I've
exactly.
never
But that's what I'm
been
saying. All it
in a
takes is
fight
a
in my
talk.
life, ever.
Mhm.
Never
And
been in a physical fight in my
Getting
life.
level with this person, you didn't have to put hands on him. You didn't have to speak his bully
No.
language. You just had to
Exactly.
approach him as a person.
Exactly.
And to tell him
Right.
that you were going to
Girl,
be treated and you
so
weren't going to tolerate
If
less
you had
than
let me
being
finish
treated like
the
a
story,
human.
you would have heard that shit in the first place.
Well, you just said that
So
the
the-
only language a bully tolerates is,
But you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
I did.
So
No, you didn't.
here's the question, and I think this is an interesting question. Who's the bad parent? The single mother or the parents of the bullies?
The parents of the bullies, listen, are the bad parents.
I feel like we're trying. Are you talking about this particular instance?
I'm talking about this particular instance because
We don't know
When-
anything about anything.
I don't understand why
think
we
had
were
14,
why the question was asked whether or not she was a single mother or whether she
I asked
had-
that question because I wanted to know if he had another parental, person, another parent to go to talk
What would
about
that
it.
have to do
If
with
he had a father to go to.
what would
A
that have
father
to do
would
with
have
the
advised him
Mhm,
to confront this guy,
mhm.
and I think it may have been settled. But then again, we also talked about clinical depression
Mhm.
and how powerful it is.
Yes.
So,
Mhm,
I'm not saying anybody's at fault for his suicide.
mhm.
No.
Yeah.
I was just asking about that because I wanted to know if his father may have told him,
Mhm.
confront this guy and get it over with.
Mhm.
Then again, he may not have. But the suicide is a tragedy.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
trying to diminish
the
the tragedy.
I mean, this is not like an isolated incident. It's like
No.
kids kill themselves from bullying. I don't know the statistics, but it's common.
It's pretty high.
It's
One
just
is too
common.
many.
And by the way,
It's more than one.
it's
for sure.
it's a lot higher with young African American youth than I thought it was.
Really.
I never thought that it was that high, but it's actually quite high.
It's the bravado that comes with that.
it's
And
quite
the
high.
automatic, being shamed and being called a sissy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And the bravado is so
Oh, you're talking about gay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
uh,
Oh, I see.
prominent in that
I
culture.
can totally
and
see
being
that,
yeah.
a man, has the specific definition.
Because the machismo in the straight African American community is so high, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's literally high. The
Yeah.
moment that you even hint at a black man being gay is the most offensive thing that you could do.
But that's the way it is.
And
but
I-
that's just, it's
yeah.
not
And
just
all
a black
eyes are
community.
you're
Mhm.
weak. You don't deserve any respect.
Yeah,
White
exactly.
people, white people
etc.
have the same problem. I grew up with cousins, and we're all,
Mhm.
supposed to be masculine hunters and all that
Mhm.
stuff. I never went hunting, and
Wait,
But-
is the statistics more for the African American
Mhm.
gays?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
youth.
we all have issues in that
Mhm.
That's
respect, though.
I mean, but that's the thing.
It
It's
is
coming to the
sad.
table and showing that that's not the way that
Mhm.
all of us as people, the thing that separates us from the rest of the
Mhm.
animal kingdom is the fact that we have this higher consciousness. We have this ability to communicate feeling to one another, not just
Mhm.
dominance and stance and machismo and alpha, aspects of
And
ourselves.
I want to say this.
That's what makes us human.
There is a level of blame here. And the level of blame is to people who raise children as if children are gods. They
Tolerance
can't do any wrong.
Oh, yeah.
If someone
That's
else
everybody.
outside says, "Hey, your child is kind of mean and he treats people terribly," and blah 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 blah, a parent automatically goes. And by the way, in the old days, a parent would go,
didn't used to be like that. You got
Just
home and got
whoop-
your ass
whoop his ass.
Yeah,
Whoop his ass.
I agree. From the
But
show, everybody
parents
knows how I
nowadays,
feel.
They think
Whoop
their
that ass.
children are amazing creatures.
Little Tina won a trophy the other day at football.
What
Just
do you-
'cause
what-
she showed up.
What,
They're
do you-
above reproach.
what happened? Like what do you attribute the difference to?
I attribute the difference to the fact that because so much emphasis is put on children being untouchable.
Yeah.
And I understand as one who grew up with child abuse and all this other stuff, I understand that
Yeah.
on a certain level. children need to be protected on a certain level.
On a certain level.
But at the
they also
same
need to be
time,
moderated.
at the same time, you need to raise your child. And if other people are telling you that your child is a terrible person,
But wait,
you need to figure out what is going on with your child. That another person, especially an adult person who has your child in their room for 10 hours.
Right.
What is going on with you that another adult is telling you your child is terrible?
I think the teachers are more at fault in that situation than the parents because the teachers are.
Girl, don't blame the teachers.
Don't blame the teachers. The teachers are horrible.
The teachers are ones tolerating it.
They're terrified. They are terrified of parents.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But like a teacher that stands by and allows that to happen in their administration, the administration needs to get back behind its teachers.
Oh no, they don't do that.
They don't do that.
Which takes the control away from the teachers. And how many of these suicides and whatnots were were a factor when the teacher was in control of their classroom?
Well,
things were a little too hands-on at one point. But
and guess what?
Wait a minute. This brings up the subject of the kindergarten teacher in Kansas.
Oh shit!
That I have the story on.
Yes.
Well, girl, this kindergarten teacher didn't know. I don't know why you people. You're always on camera. Don't scratch your ass in public because you're going to end up on YouTube. Anyway, this teacher had walked into the library. All the kids have gotten in line, doing their thing, and because it was time to go back to class. Well, this little girl, bless her heart, she saw that teacher and she ran and she hid under a bookshelf. And, girl, that teacher pulled her ass out and kicked her. Kicked her.
What's wrong with that?
And told her, get up and get in line, and let's go back to the classroom. And she was terrified. That poor little girl, abused like that.
Maybe she needed to be
let
kicked.
me tell you the other side of the story. Let me turn this page over and let you know what I saw.
Well, make it quick, girl, because we're about to take a break. And we're going to get into the next segment, which
what I saw was the teacher walked into the room. The little girl was separated from every other student. And then when the teacher walked in the room, she came off the desk. Y'all look it up. Kindergarten teacher kicks student. Look it up. This little bitch gets up from her seat and stomps her foot because she's trying to find her painting or whatever, her art. The librarian's like, oh, don't worry about it. And so she sees the teacher come in. All the students are in line. Defiant of the students, she goes and hides under a bookshelf. The teacher sees her, drags her ass out. The child is kicking. Oh, by the way, that story has been edited now. It's crazy. Because I saw it when it happened.
Oh, shit.
On Channel 13 News. Little girl's kicking at this bitch.
Channel 13 News, everyone.
Kicking at her. And so she said, girl, she had no business putting her hands on that child. Don't get me wrong. But she nudged her with her foot after that child kicked her.
Wait, she nudged
her? And now
her?
she's gone down. She's going down. She's going, she's going to jail.
Once again, what this story really says is that parents
are not teaching their children how to act.
So all the blame goes to the parents, and that's where it needs to be.
And that's where it needs to be. But I guess I'm finished with that story.
But in an instance with bullying, it is on the teachers to report back to the parents of the bullies and the depressed child.
And it's the parents' responsibility to... That is the parents' responsibility to take action when it comes to their children doing wrong. And when your children do wrong, you need to take
her mother is civilly suing this woman.
No, I'm talking about the suicide.
Yes.
I'm talking about the suicide.
She's civilly suing this woman. This woman has been fired from her job and all this. Everybody is all up in arms and worried about that child. Girl, that child stomped after the woman kicked her, quote unquote. She folded up her arms on her chest and stomped with her little lip poked out and walked out of the room behind that woman. This is not an abused child. This is a child abusing authority and railing against authority because her mama didn't teach her better.
Okay.
Why can't I get this drama in my life?
I know. And we're going to that was fun. And we have literally told, by the way, all these stories that we've told about children, gay community, don't raise your children like heterosexuals.
Lord, you know they got it wrong.
They
got it wrong.
They got it wrong. They don't know how to raise kids, and they keep telling us that we don't know what we're doing.
Shit.
They don't know how to raise kids.
Shit.
But we're going to take a break. Everybody is going to take a breather because we're going to get into some fun topics in the next half hour. So we'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Are we back?
We're back, girls. Ladies and gentlemen, it's...
Oh, girl, my ear's ringing.
I know.
No, I've got that tinnitus like Tony Randall and shit.
What?
No,
I
it's
couldn't hear
ringing.
you.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Tony Randall and anything entertainment-wise, we're gonna have a little bit of a discussion on movies, music, and talk.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And what?
And by the
Movies,
way,
music, and talk.
Oh, shit.
by the way,
Wow.
let's go down music road because this story was like just threw me because I thought it was the most hilarious thing. Twitter has been a buzz with all of this. It seems that at Coachella, Miss Ariana Grande was doing her thing. She was living. She was just doing her thing. She was on stage. She was singing her songs. She was having a good time.
yeah.
And then some bitch in the audience threw a lemon at her.
And hit her on the breast.
Oh,
Threw
man.
a lemon, and she threw a fit, and she walked off stage. Let me tell you the background of this story.
That's not a bad bitch.
Let me tell you the background of this story. There was a rumor because Beyonce and she both performed at Coachella that she got paid more than Beyonce, which is not true. They both got paid an equal amount of money. But there was some rumor going around that Beyonce got paid less. So some mad bitch who was in her, I think they call it the Beyhive.
No, it's the Beyhive. The Beyhive.
The Beyhive decided that they were going to
We
throw a
have to
lemon.
educate you on Beyonce? Really?
Yes, you do, because I am not a big fan.
She is not a big fan. And
I am not a big fan.
Beyonce sings in flats, bitches. I sure hate it.
I'm not a big fan.
They're going
by
to
the
come
way,
after me. Come after me, bitch.
by the way,
Come for
I
me, bitch. Come
did
for me.
enjoy her
Come
album
for Joe.
Lemonade. I did enjoy it. There was a few songs on the
Formation
album.
is
It was
awesome.
amusing.
I hated Beyonce, then I heard Formation, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about the music
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
with Beyonce.
I loved the song
They should have
Sorry.
paid Ariana more.
I love that
Or
song.
Ariana
Sorry.
can fucking sing.
She got that shit.
Mhm.
So wait,
She's a
what
bad
was the...
bitch.
So it's a big fight now between the Beehives, and they call them the Aeronators, but I hate that term for.
The what?
That's a
I would like
unimaginative
to. I would like to
millennial
call them
bullshit.
the Grandistas.
That's stupid.
The Grandistas, because her name is Ariana Grande.
Oh, yes!
The Grandistas.
Yes, Joe, good for you.
I like Grandeistas. Does
Grandistas.
she like Grandistas?
I have no
Let's
idea,
make
but
it
she
happen.
should. Let's make it happen. But the Grandistas got mad at the Beehive.
Arroganator sounds like something
I
Hitler would
know.
come
Sounds
up
like a
with.
disease.
It sounds,
No, it sounds
It
like
sounds
something
venereal.
Hitler would
Yeah,
come up with.
exactly.
Communicable area.
Like on my cock.
Oh
It
my
burns. Yeah,
god!
it's like a sore.
But the Grandistas threw shade at the Beehive, and the Beehive
lemons.
threw back and said, "Well, maybe one of y'all threw that lemon at her," and they're like, "No, why would we throw a lemon?" It just became a thing, and I'm like,
Lemonade.
How is it that?
Oh, shit! Pinky!
Yeah, exactly.
Leave
No,
it to
Pinky
Pinky.
came up with it.
Detective. I'm a dick.
When did we start putting our stars on such a level that they can't do no wrong? Look, I don't have a problem with Beyonce. I'm just not particularly a big fan.
Okay,
But I don't.
Let me say
when
this.
did she
Let me
become
say
like
this.
the goddess who suddenly came down to
Let
earth
somebody get
to
a
say,
word in edgewise.
"I'm getting you there.
And let me say something.
I'm getting you there."
Oh, shit.
Well,
edging
I
you.
want to say this.
Mm-hmm.
We never have.
Mm-hmm.
But we are not like the rest of the world.
Mhm.
And there are fans out there. I don't understand fanism.
They're rabid.
I don't get it. I don't
I
think
don't
you
understand
get
fans
it.
of Beyonce.
Oh, they
Ooh,
come, the
oh,
Beehive is
mhm.
coming after you. honey.
We gonna
Come
be
for me, bitches. I'll
But
tell you.
listen, I've never understand the fanaticism of people in the first place.
Mhm.
I'll give you that. Like
I don't care
losing
if,
yourself and your
if they're
identity, and,
actors
like, being beside
or
yourself
pop
because
stars
of that now.
or politicians. I've never understood fanaticism.
Mm-mm.
I understand it because these people have nothing, and now that we have social media and phones, like
Yeah, exactly.
our lives have become more empty,
Right.
void of meaning. So they place all
And
this
inundated with pop
meaning
culture,
on the
right.
celebrity.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they have to have that celebrity be on the pedestal, otherwise they themselves are nothing.
They
Right.
can't live.
They're worshiping false gods.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
exactly.
Switch.
Terrible.
So it's fucking fucked up.
Mm-mm.
It
And
is.
don't get me wrong.
Apt.
I love me some little Ariana. She's so cute.
That is adorable.
She is cute. She's just a cute little short little thing that I'm
Ooh.
like, I just want to dress you up and send you out in the
Why doesn't she have a doll out? I'm
is
surprised
She
you don't
needs
have
a doll. I would
They
play
do
with that
need Ariana
doll.
doll.
She
I would put her in all
smoking
kinds of little
hot.
dresses.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm serious. That would be the
I don't
only
play with
time.
dolls, but
That's a
I
good idea, though.
would.
I think
I
Ariana
would.
doll is
I
cute.
would. I think that.
She needs to get behind the doll.
Mm-mm.
Have you guys heard
Okay.
Seven Rings?
What's
Okay.
that?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Yes. Love it. Yes.
I don't like Ariana Grande.
Oh my
I
God.
think
I
her music
love-
sucks.
I was not a fan.
She's
I was
a
not
good
a fan.
singer.
Like, this
She's
is
a good
one song
singer.
that
She is a
I-
good singer.
Mhm.
I heard this song,
Mhm.
and that's the thing. Like, I completely separate your content from your individual persona. Like, Michael Jackson, brilliant artist. What he did as a person, I do not care when I'm talking about music.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who has done anything questionable has nothing to do with the music and the content that they
Right.
put out.
Their creativity is.
That is
I
a
feel
completely different subject than talking about them on a
What do you-
personal,
right.
individual
I
level.
feel the same way about Mel Gibson. I think he is a horrible person.
Dude,
But
Apocalypto was fucking
Apocalypto
amazing.
was amazing.
It's
He's an
brilliant.
amazing storyteller. He knows
I
how
don't
to
know
tell a
that
story.
motherfucker, so I can't say
but
if he's a
on screen,
horrible
exactly,
person.
And none of us actually know any of these
Mhm.
celebrities, and that's the thing. Is we
You
put them
have
up
to
on these
separate the
pedestals.
celebrity,
Right.
the personality from what they
Exactly.
create.
Mhm.
And
No matter what you see on Twitter, no matter what you see on our Facebook or anyone's Facebook, you don't know them.
Mhm.
You know what their publicist
Mhm.
told them project as their public image. You do
Mhm.
not know
Right.
them.
Right.
You don't know that they're a good person. Oh, they did this, or oh, they did that. They donated to this. That doesn't make them a good person.
Mel Gibson is best friends with Jodie Foster. They have been all along. Now, I don't know what that says about Jodie. I don't know what that says about him. But I trust Jodie Foster.
Mhm.
I love Jodie.
But-
I don't know her.
I trust that bitch.
Why?
Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't
See, this is the
know
hard
nothing
time.
about
to-
her. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying,
Mhm.
what I'm actually doing is bringing to light the fact that people trust people for no reason.
Mhm.
That's what I'm actually
Yeah,
doing.
exactly.
That's what I'm actually saying.
Oh.
Wow.
You don't
trust her,
know.
but you don't
I don't
know
know
why.
why I trust Jodie. That's nobody knows why.
Mhm.
I trusted her until she had her facelift or Botox or whatever she did.
Mhm.
Oh,
Then
that's
I'm like-
that's Botox.
Then I'm like,
Mhm.
God, I don't know about
Yeah,
her
that's
now.
Botox.
Mhm.
But
Well-
no, Jodie Foster's still friends with him, so why can't
Who's
we?
Jodie
That's-
Foster?
Speaking of music, okay.
And Randy went for Clint.
Speaking of music, we cannot have a gay podcast go for 2 weeks without mentioning who had a video drop and a song drop.
Madonna.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I didn't see it. Oh, I didn't
Oh,
see it.
shit.
I haven't
Did
seen
you
it
see
yet.
it?
I haven't seen it yet.
I
Did you
haven't
see
I
seen
it?
was
it.
unintrigued.
I did. I'm not a fan of her. I'm not really a fan of Madonna.
She's in like this like
I thought it
weird,
kinda
I'm too
sucks.
famous to do anything that people actually need to. I don't need to make money anymore, so I'm just gonna like do what I want and stay relevant and in the news, and not actually worry about what my
Wait, did you
fans
see
want.
the video?
I heard it in the background.
Well, you should never.
Girl,
worry.
you didn't see it.
Okay, you should never worry about what your fans want. That's a horrible thing for an
Yeah,
artist to do.
exactly.
exactly.
And
Well,
artists
I
should
agree with
create.
that. But Madonna was a craze because she was like she had that fan base, and so you have to at a certain point you have to cater to your fans. You have to give your fans what you want, or you don't have fans.
Okay, here's the thing about Madonna. She did a lot of firsts,
Yes.
and she pioneered a lot of shit.
Yes.
Yes.
So all
She
respect
is
for
the
her
queen of pop.
for that. She is
For a good
literally
reason.
the queen of pop.
I think Michael
So-
Jackson is the queen of pop.
No.
She's not a queen. Do not equate a child molester with gay people, please. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyway,
See, that's separating
the
him.
truth.
That's
That's
the music.
truth. Do
That's
not
the,
equate him with
that's
gay
the content
people.
with the individual. I
He was
separate
not
the two.
gay.
No.
Anyway.
You're
Michael, he said.
Anyway, back to Madonna.
Yeah,
Anyway,
back to Madonna.
Madonna is literally the queen of pop, and she's changed fashion. She's changed the music industry, everything.
She's changed the idea of women and
Business women,
sexuality. She's
women
changed,
in charge.
Mhm.
Bitch, there didn't have to be a Me Too.
Yes.
Madonna was. She
Yes.
didn't have to do a Me Too. She was.
But she has been disappointing.
And here's
So
and
disappointing.
wait, you didn't
Over
let
and
me
over
finish
and
my
over
point.
again.
Let me finish my point. Joel and I have talked about Madonna on the show before.
Oh, okay.
And Joel and I hope you still agree. I don't know if he does or not. She needs to sit down and let somebody else have it. It's time, girl. You're over 60 years old.
She doesn't
girl.
need to let
Sit
someone
down.
else have it.
But
Like,
she needs to sit down.
she doesn't have it anymore. Someone else already
Gaga
has
took
it.
Exactly.
Gaga
She
took
needs
her,
to sit down.
and that's the thing. She won't let it go.
She has to. She
Madonna
think
wants
she
to
should
stay
get-
relevant.
she should
and
sit
honestly-
down with grace.
she's
May-
clinging.
may I
Honestly,
say
she
this?
should get experimental and say
At
fuck
what,
everybody.
at what point, though, the Cher can still do a live concert, attract God knows, and sell out shows like nothing in the world, and she's
with what
77
she's
years
already
old.
done. Not
That's
with new
because
music.
Cher is
She's
just...
older than my mother.
Mhm.
Not with
Cher
her
does
music.
not
older than my
put...
mother.
Cher, when Cher does a concert, it's an event.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
But I watched the Cher. I watched Sonny and Cher on TV now, and it's literally on TV
Mhm.
tonight. The Cher show is on.
Really?
Get TV.
Wait, what?
And
What's that?
Get TV is
What's that? I
it's
have a TV.
the channel.
Oh. Let me see.
Mhm.
I don't know you playing. Anyway, the Cher show is on now because they did Sonny and Cher. It started in 1968, which amazed me. I was like, "Girl, that's the year I was born, 1968."
Mhm.
And honey, that bitch, Cher was flawless.
Mhm.
Her body was amazing.
She didn't drink.
It's still
She didn't
never
smoke.
did.
She never
She
did
never
any
did
drugs.
drugs.
She never did it. She talked about, when I saw her in concert, she talked about the time she had a beer. A beer. And she made, it was the funniest speech I'd ever heard. She goes, I had a beer with my friend, and I had never had a beer before, but I'm like, she's like, but I'm like 5,000 years old. So I had said, I'm going to have a beer. And she had a beer, and she's like, I had the worst hangover I could possibly have. And I'm like, me and David are looking at each other like, this bitch had one beer. How are you going to have a hangover on one beer?
Well, when
But-
you're 72 goddamn years old, hell yeah, you.
I was going to
And
say,
never
everything's running
drank,
electronically
and
at that
never
point,
drank
right?
in your life. I guess I understand, but I'm like, that's funny. But I haven't seen the new Madonna video yet. You know, the last
I haven't
couple of
seen it either.
Madonna videos, except for the only song that I ever liked.
There's a hot guy in it.
There's-
He's like he's a singer.
Mhm.
Like, she only sings the verses,
Mhm.
and he sings the chorus. He's kind of hot.
Because she's selling sex. She's
Yeah,
selling what
exactly.
she's already sold.
and she's
She's
selling the
less
young
as-
people.
Yeah.
She is selling to.
Yeah.
She's selling the young people.
she
That's
shouldn't
what
be.
she does.
She should grow
Mhm.
up with her fan base.
hmm
Yeah. I don't care for it.
I didn't.
I love Madonna.
I read about the video and I went,
But she needs to
I'm
sit
not gonna
down,
watch
girl.
this.
Sit
I'm not, and
down.
I'm not an Ariana Grande fan either.
Mhm.
I'm just as much an Ariana Grande fan as I am a Madonna fan.
Mhm.
And when I heard Seven Rings come on,
Mhm.
I went in the room to check it out.
I haven't heard
When I
Seven
heard
I love-
Madonna's new single come on, I stayed in the other room.
Yeah.
I can say this. I love "Thank You Next." Actually, I
Yes.
I
Oh my
like a
God.
song where you can talk about how your exes made your life better, but they were done,
Ooh, yeah.
and you've moved on.
Ooh, I like
And
that.
I like
that.
that.
That's very healthy.
That is very healthy.
Yeah,
I
she's-
like that.
That's the way it
That's
should
what
Yeah,
art
be.
is. It's an
exactly.
expression and like
Exactly.
okay,
And she
on
talked
that-
about every ex that she ever had in that song,
and
Wow.
what they,
and
and
what-
how they influenced her.
and how they
But
left.
when the relationship was over, it was over.
Wait, did she write this song, or did she just buy the song?
no,
no,
she
these
wrote,
are about men that she dated.
Okay.
no. These,
so-
she wrote it.
To that point, let's
Mhm.
all answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
After the ex,
Mm-hmm.
how do you make friends, or do you just forget about them altogether and move on?
Best
Can
way to
we?
get over somebody is under
Can I-
somebody new.
Can I throw this in here? Can we save that for the third act? Because I would actually like to have that conversation.
Oh, okay.
But I want to get into, because here's the thing: Avengers Endgame is the huge thing right
Shit,
now.
You're actually going to talk about this when you got
Yes.
mad at Pinky for like...
do you want
However,
to get beat up
I was disappointed.
like that football player?
okay, let
Hey,
me
what are you saying?
let me throw this in here.
Is this a nerd podcast?
Avengers Endgame is like the biggest movie on the planet. It made $1 billion
It is.
in 4
Everyone's
days.
talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it. But I want to talk about the movies that we as a gay community
Oh.
love. And two of the movies
Showgirls.
that will be
Quintessentials.
coming out, that will be re-released to the theaters. We have Paris is Burning. And, by the way, my all-time favorite, to Wong Fu,
Yes.
which will be re-released
I'm
unedited.
crying.
Unedited. What does that mean?
That means that all the scenes that they cut out when we watched
And
it
there
on
were a
TV,
lot of them. They
and there were a
chopped the
lot of
shit
them.
out of
They
that
chopped the
movie.
shit out of that movie.
Well, they chopped out what, the best scenes?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Just
they
they had to
chopped
condense
out.
it to a certain standard.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to be
but
shorter
frankly,
movies then.
in my mind, in my fantasy, they chopped out the really good juicy gay.
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Oh, to make it more
To make it more
palatable.
family friendly,
Right.
Mhm.
Quote unquote
Because
straight wash.
they had a PG-13 rating.
Mm-hmm. And this was a movie that, by the way, because they cut so much out, it turned into the gay magical movie, which I hated about that. It
I don't know. what you mean.
every trope of when Hollywood does gay characters in a movie, they make us seem magical. We can solve all your problems. We can make you feel better about yourself. We can help
No,
you
they
dress. We can
literally
help you
turned
do-
us
Yeah.
into fairies.
Yeah, exactly. They literally turned us into
The
fairies.
drag queens became fairies.
And Tu
of
Wong Fu,
happiness.
Tu Wong Fu became that
I'm
movie
very happy.
of what happens when you take three of the straightest men in Hollywood,
I love it.
put
so
them in
much.
dresses.
Oh, I wouldn't say that about Wesley Snipes.
I wouldn't say, oh.
I've always thought Wesley Snipes.
Although she,
I don't
has
understand.
I love some of
I
the
don't understand
outfits
what
that
you're
she
saying.
wore.
He's extremely he's on the extreme.
I've always thought
handsome.
Wesley Snipes was gay. Wesley, if you can stay out of prison long enough, don't be mad at me.
Oh,
don't
I
come
don't
and get
know.
me.
Mhm.
Because I know
No,
you're
I
not
think
paying.
Demolition
My
Man.
gaydar goes off.
No,
Yeah.
Wesley decided not to pay his taxes again. So, Wesley, if you're out of prison, don't come after me, girl.
Mhm.
You know Noxzema
Oh,
was
he's
too
out of prison.
real.
Mm-hmm.
Just so
Okay,
good.
I don't understand
No,
what you
he's
said.
out.
Editing the
He's
movie turned
He
it more
said
magical.
something.
I don't
Yes,
get it.
because they cut out certain scenes of the movie where we, as a gay community, could identify with the characters
The ordinary,
in that movie.
Yeah.
identifiable.
But to make it straight friendly, they cut those scenes out,
Yeah.
which made it the movie.
In my mind, I don't know what they cut
Mhm.
out, but in my mind and in Joel's
Mhm.
mind, those are the scenes that they cut
Mhm.
out. In our little,
You guys are just talking
dream.
shit about something you don't even know.
It's like, but it's
We
cutting.
don't
It's like
know,
cutting a
we
trailer.
wanna
It's
see
like
it.
I don't know
wanna
if that
see
movie's
it.
going to be
How do
funny
we
or
not
if
know?
everything.
I have seen
all
this
the funny
movie
moments.
like 1,000 times.
have you seen the deleted scenes?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you
There's
have?
there's a scene when they first
See,
arrive
no.
in town. When they first arrive in town and the sheriff is looking for them, they cut out that part of the
Oh,
scene.
they must have because they didn't.
They cut out a scene where they're in the room and they're redecorating the room, and they cut out the scene before that. And I'm like, why did you cut that scene out? That doesn't make any sense to
everybody
me.
go see it. Don't tell anybody.
No,
everybody.
I'm not going to give any spoilers for you young kids who haven't seen it. Y'all
They all
just-
die.
If you're gay and you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, you've not earned your gay
Yeah,
card
exactly.
yet.
You need to
go out
see
and
it.
see it.
Mhm.
There's
But-
a list of
Mhm.
essentials. Me
Mhm.
and Chris are still working on that because
Mhm.
Chris has not quite covered all of the prerequisites for his
Mhm.
gay card.
Now for the
Oh,
show,
whatever, Brandy.
but for the
Johnson.
show, I
That's
asked
my name.
the other three panelists on the show to watch Paris is Burning to see how we see it from this perspective.
Well, what did y'all think?
From this
I
point.
have not seen it,
You didn't do the.
And there's a
homework?
silence in the room.
and I apologize. about
No,
that.
I thought it was. I liked it.
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm supposed to think about it.
Well, I mean, just to go back and to
Supposed to be
see
in it.
the movie. Did you ever see the movie before you?
I'd never
watched
seen
it?
the movie before.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I did not watch Paris is Burning until a couple of years ago because I never
Really?
seen it. Yeah, I never saw it when it first came out, and I didn't see it the subsequent years.
Well,
that it came out.
I lived in Greenville, Mississippi. I had to watch it on cable when
Mhm.
it came out on
Mhm.
cable because, bitch, ain't nobody in Greenville, Mississippi who wants to live.
Mhm.
First of all, going out in public with another
Yeah,
gay
exactly.
man. Secondly, going to a movie
Movie
theater.
theater.
Did
You're
it
begging
show
to
in
get
the
It
like,
did show
bashed.
in
Mhm.
Greenville, Mississippi.
begging to get
I
bashed
don't know
and
why.
stuff.
Mhm.
Honey, before Paris was burning, Mississippi was.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I don't
so.
know why it came to the theater,
Mhm.
but a whole lot of women went to see it because there ain't no gay man in Mississippi going to see that shit.
The moment that you're a man in Greenville, Mississippi, I'm sorry, where
Greenville,
was this?
Mississippi.
Greenville, Mississippi, walking into a theater to see Paris is Burning
They're
at
waiting
that
for you
time.
to come out.
Oh, they're waiting for you to come out.
Hell
You
yeah!
gonna
They're
It's
having
like
themselves
BB
a
King's.
good dragon.
It's like BB King's Blues Festival happened every year,
Mhm.
and God rest his soul. Girl, BB King had to tell him at one point, please, police officers, stop parking outside of this concert venue because that's just a trap.
Mhm.
These people are trying to have a good time
Mhm.
and drink their beer and have a good time. And y'all just waiting out. Girl,
Right.
they arrested, at one point, they arrested 500 people.
What?
The jail was so full,
Mhm.
they couldn't have anybody else go to jail.
Mhm.
They were gyrating.
Behind
It was against the law back then.
DWIs.
Mhm.
It's a fucking beer festival with BB King.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
But it was also a way for them to get
Yeah.
down on a certain minority
Mhm.
that the
Well, no, everybody went.
Okay.
well, right, but
But no, what I'm
Okay,
saying,
Miss
what I'm
Pink.
saying is that's just a loaded theater.
Mhm.
Paris
Mhm.
is burning. All the gay men go to see it. Now, I ain't no gay man, and we didn't go anywhere. I never even went to dinner with my best friend. We had house parties to live,
Mhm.
and Greenville, Mississippi, is still the same way.
Mhm.
And in fact,
but it's
worse.
that way. It's that way
worse.
because there's no one been
Mhm.
to do that.
You know,
Mhm.
To
Miss
say
Pinky,
this is who I am. You're gonna fucking deal with it. You're gonna sit over there at your
Mhm.
table. I'm gonna sit over here at my
Nobody's
table,
separating.
and you're gonna
girl.
fuck off.
But there's a lot to be said for the down low.
But Miss
I had a lot of
Pinky,
sex with a lot of hot men.
there are three of us who watch this. It's on Netflix. Go watch the movie tonight.
I am. I will get
Please
my
go watch
roommate's
this.
Netflix
You will
login,
understand
'cause I
the
don't have
whole-
Netflix.
You know, the whole ball scene. You'll understand the ball scene in New York.
And
and I really do
1919.
want to see it. It's not a. Not
I actually had a
not
question.
interest
Like,
thing.
I was curious, like, what happened to that whole scene?
Oh, it's still going on.
Is it still going on?
It's
really?
still
Oh
going
yeah,
on.
oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow.
Houses of
They should
drag
do a
still
Paris
exist.
is burning in
And
2019. Hello.
you know what? There are drag houses still
Mhm.
in Austin and San Antonio.
Mhm.
They moved out of Houston because Houston doesn't like drag.
Mhm.
I don't know why you bitches
Mm-mm.
do not
They have-
support drag.
Wait, there's
They don't
drag.
support
Because
drag.
there's
drag
no
house
good.
in
There's no
Austin?
good drag in Houston.
They don't support drag properly. They used to, but
Mhm.
Naomi Sims passed
Mhm.
and died drag with Naomi Sims,
Mhm.
girl. And that's a shame. But
In
it's true.
Houston.
Well, Houston's
In
kind
Houston.
of the Houston
In
gay
Houston.
scene's kind of become basic bitch.
It has become basic, bitch. It
really
is.
has.
It's just terrible at how.
Oh, I'm so
How
happy
the
y'all
Houston
said
gay
that because I
scene
can say
is.
I get to
Mhm.
say this because I've always wanted to say this. You're basic.
Mhm.
That's how I feel whenever I want to go.
Mhm.
Whenever I go to the Eagle, I want to say you're basic.
You know, there was a funny
You're
moment.
basic, bitches.
There was a funny
Have you been
moment at when I was at work. I'm listening to a bunch of Bel Air housewives talk about the weekend they had
That
when they
sounds
went
fun.
to Hamburger Mary's and they were watching drag. And these are Bel Air housewives talking about, oh, I had so much fun. I had all these drag queens were amazing and blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
They weren't talking
am
about
I
Houston.
really listening to this conversation right now? Because you ladies are, you're pretty suburban, and Bel Air women are suburban. They are suburban. They are typical suburban housewives.
They really are.
Girl, they're
Soccer
And-
moms.
No,
That-
I
And-
think
and
there's a
2019
sophistication to
And
them.
2019 suburban
That's not real
housewives.
suburbia, though.
It's not.
Bel Air is not real
It's
suburbia.
Stafford. Yeah, it's just.
But
Well, wait.
Stepford
So what
wives.
do you?
but Bel Air suburban housewives
Mhm.
are also the world's biggest drunks. These bitches drink all the time. They
I
drink
love
bottles of wine like
I
it's
simply
nothing.
love these bitches.
And
So what are
every
you trying to
time-
say? Like
Cost of
that's
living
not
is
a
low,
good
so
drag
one
show or
income
what?
works.
No. They were all talking about how they wanted to dress in drag for Halloween and all this other stuff. And I'm
How does
like,
a woman dress in
that
drag?
work?
She's then a drag king.
Over the top makeup. No,
over the top. All it
makeup.
takes is over the top makeup.
Well, a woman in
Hey,
drag
that's
is a drag
awesome.
king.
I think that's awesome that they went to go see the
Yeah,
show.
I think so too.
don't
I
have
feel
a
like
problem.
that.
Do you really have a problem with those bitches?
No, I don't have a
Honestly.
problem. I thought it was cute that as much as we slam the fact that there's not really a drag community.
There's
In Houston.
not a real good drag show.
But then, do we want to
Mhm.
be so
I want
spectacle?
drag
Do we wanna be
back.
that
Mhm.
kind
No,
of.
I want drag back. I
Mhm.
love drag, and I want drag back.
There's
And they-
amazing
Well,
drag
we do.
all over the country.
Daryl, who's the biggest drag queen in Houston right now?
My
If
mother,
there
JR,
I-
no.
If there was
At
one, we would know.
JR's, she's still performing. She's been performing. for
Coffee.
Coffee, cake.
Coffee.
cake.
And
Big
we
crush.
love
She had a
coffee.
huge crush on my brother.
Hey, we
when
should
were
have
out of
coffee
town.
on the
Why
show.
is she saying cakes now? She didn't used to say cakes.
Well, no, I mean
Coffee.
that's a joke between
Yeah,
me and
that's
my
just a joke.
That's a joke between me and my brother
No,
because I brought
coffee
my
is-
brother to JR's.
Coffee is
and she had this huge crush
Coffee
on
has
him.
been an
been.
institution
Yeah.
for about 20, 25 years. So
Ooh.
she still gets up. I saw her at Hamburger Mary's Jasmine Masters was also there from RuPaul's Drag Race. Jasmine Masters has now moved to Houston because she wants to revitalize.
Let's revitalize
the drag community in Houston.
Drag
I think she
is good. Good.
I think drag is kind of punk.
She was
There's a sort of punk
opportunizing
thing
on,
to it.
Yeah.
There has
barren market.
You watch RuPaul's Drag Race. There are a lot of punk drag queens.
Well, the thing is
love
that I love. Someone said this, and I thought that was very cute. I thought it was very on point. I didn't mean cute. When you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, you're a drag enthusiast. If you're not in the drag community watching real drag, then you're not really a drag. You're not really into drag. I like how people go, "Oh, I love drag." Blah 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 blah. Have you seen a show? No, I've not seen any shows. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Well, you're not into drag. You're just a drag enthusiast.
Okay,
You like
you're
drag.
kind of being snobby.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're
But
being
if-
snobby.
I don't think there's anything wrong
How am I
with being
being-
snobby about
Because you're
drag.
saying that
I don't
like drag.
I like
just
starfish,
because-
but I've never gone to the ocean to see one.
So you're an enthusiast,
So I'm
not an
I'm
enthusiast.
You're a
not-
starfish
And by the way,
enthusiast.
that's not. I'm not being a snob. I'm just saying that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a snob. I think
I'm-
being a purist. Drag is a craft.
I
Drag is
have
something that
watched
you
drag.
should be a snob
Drag was the thing I had watched since I came out of the closet. I love drag. And by the way, I love RuPaul's Drag Race. Don't get me wrong, I do. But until you've seen
Do
real
you travel
live
to San
shows,
Antonio to watch drag shows?
why would I want to travel to San Antonio when there's drag here? We need to be
Where
supporting
is
drag
it?
here.
No, I know we should, but guess
But
what?
good
The
drag.
venues,
And we need to
for
stop
drag,
saying good drag.
No.
Drag has to start somewhere.
No, the venues for drag in Houston suck.
Mhm.
The
Riches-
When a drag
because-
queen is as close to you
Hold
as
on,
I am,
hold on,
hold on.
that's
no.
not a real
No.
drag queen.
Riches is bringing drag
Riches
back
should.
into the fold.
Riches
because it's an
should.
anthem.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is an
And they're bringing
auditorium.
it back to the people who need it the
deserving
most.
of-
Young
No,
people.
and I
Good drag.
support that, but
Let's
Riches
go see
should.
it.
No, Riches
We
should
should.
bring
Yeah.
back drag because Riches was
And
a
JR's
mecca of drag. No pun intended. Because guess what?
and
Riches
JR's
was
has been
called
having a
Mecca
drag
at one
show
point.
for
I'm tying it all in.
Wow.
and JR still has an ongoing drag show that goes on that's been going on
Wait,
for
they do?
years.
It's tired, and I will say this: drag is supposed to be fanatical. Drag is supposed to be out there. Drag is supposed to push the envelope. Drag
Yeah,
is
it's
supposed
supposed to be
to
punk.
make you uncomfortable,
Mhm.
Right.
and it's supposed to be a spectacle. I have
It's
seen
not
some
supposed
of
to be
the
commercial.
best drag
Mhm.
in the country. I have
Mhm.
seen it from coast to coast,
Mhm.
and by far, there is only one city that I have been to that has a weaker
Mhm.
drag presence and level of craft.
What is that city? Tell us now.
Vegas is the only city that I've seen with less
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
than Houston.
Mhm.
And it's because there's so much
Houston has
focus
a lot
in
to
Vegas.
do
There's
to get it together for good drag.
Mhm.
Houston
and,
has
and
a lot
it's,
to do.
it's possible the queens have the talent, but like you can't say like why would anyone build a stage for tired drag? Like if you're not gonna come out there and fucking melt people's faces off with your
Mhm.
fucking performance, I'm not gonna buy new lights or new
Mhm.
mics or new flooring or even fucking a new soapbox
Well-
for you to stand on while you're up there on my fucking stage.
I think what needs to happen is, and this is the honest to God truth, what needs to happen is that someone in this city who does drag needs to end up on RuPaul's Drag Race. That's the only way
Randy.
you're going to help revitalize drag in this city. Someone
Don't
in this
do
city
drag.
Oh, I
needs
don't-
to make it on RuPaul's Drag
But
Race.
the thing is,
And they
they're
don't
not
have to
famous enough to
win.
make it.
Pinky.
They don't have to win. They just have to be on the show.
Yeah, but Mesquite, they've had queens from Houston, from Texas, on
From
the show,
Texas,
but they're not
not
good enough.
from
They're not
Houston.
good enough in
They've
Houston
been
for.
from Dallas. They've been from San Antonio. They've been from Austin.
Yep.
Until you get a Houstonian
Well,
who is in
I have one.
Until you get a
I have-
Houstonian
I have
that
a drag
Houstonians
queen
know.
of mine. She's
Mhm.
a quintessential drag queen. She
Mhm.
knows how to make her own wigs. She knows how to sew her own dresses. And her name is Lady Shamu.
Mhm.
And so I nominate Lady,
Lady Shamu to be on RuPaul's
to be on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Because if you want to revitalize drag in the city, somebody's got to be on RuPaul's Drag
I
Race.
Damn
disagree.
right.
I
Lady
could not disagree
Shamu
more.
is
I could
the
not
tea.
disagree more. You have to get Houstonians to
Do you know
recognize the
Lady
name.
Shamu's work?
No, that's the thing.
Mhm.
I am very, very in the
Mhm.
Houston gay bar scene,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and I don't know who she is.
Well, she's a Latina drag sensation, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And
She
I believe
owns
that,
Latina
but Houstonians
drag and
have to
uses
know
it.
her name
Mm-hmm.
and recognize her.
Oh, they know her
Because
name.
I don't.
Drag enthusiast, drag queens.
I have so much respect, and like I make it a point to go see
They
drag
know
in other
Lady
cities,
Shamu.
so that I have this collective thought and knowledge of where drag is the best.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who she is.
Where is drag the best?
Drag is the best in Minneapolis
Really? Why?
because they
They're
do
cold.
it. The Gay 90s, the biggest gay bar in the country, has the Ladies of La Femme Lounge, and these Ladies of La Femme, they're no longer. They've kind of broken apart, and Gay 90s has held on to that title. But
What is gay 90s?
it's the biggest gay club in the nation. It's in Minneapolis,
Really?
and yeah, it's like this humongous warehouse, and they've got a karaoke bar, they've got a drag bar, they've got a parlor,
wanna
I
go.
they've
love
got,
electronic karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
and
I want to do that.
their
tonight.
drag is so a cut above like anything I've ever seen anywhere. The Ladies of La Femme brought a Diamond Monica West, like, ugh, so good. Like,
What's good about them? Like, what puts them above?
it's a performance. Like, you see it, and like you have to see them to perform, or you'd have to see them to understand it. But it's like a draw. Like, I want to see. Like, if Prada Diamond came to Houston, I would go see her.
Can we
Monica West
pick
came
up
to
on
Houston,
this
I would see
in the next
Third segment.
Third segment. of the
It's
show?
break time.
Because it's time to take a break.
Well, I thought he said it was
Bitch
time
gotta
to
go
pray.
pee.
I'm down to
Bitch
pray.
gotta go pee.
Time to break
Bitch
it.
You down for
gotta
what?
go pee, and I gotta go
I
pee.
thought he said it's time to pray. I'm
Yes.
like, okay,
No,
I'm
I
down
said
for a
break.
prayer.
No, I
I
thought you
said
said
break.
it's time
time
to
to break
party.
I don't know
Peace
what
off
kind of
in
prayers
that.
you gonna get up in here. You gonna get a lot
I
of
can
people on
pray.
there.
I can always pray.
You might get a lot of these bitches on their knees, but you ain't gonna get them to pray.
But we're gonna break a piece off in it.
I wouldn't say that. Anyway.
That's blasphemy.
We're recording.
Hey, by the way, all these bitches have been whispering the entire time. Look at these bitches. We're back for the third act.
I have rosacea.
and the ending. And the third act
Oh,
is the
put on makeup
last.
lightly.
Can we
This
have
is-
fun now?
By the way,
Trying to get balls deep.
Randy was
Fun
gone.
killing children. You want to have fun killing children.
Randy was gone for 2 weeks. So this third act is Randy, you do your
concentrating
thing. This third act
I
is
want the
called
Randy moment. When is the Randy
Shooting
moment?
the
This is the random
Shit.
moment.
right in your
Burn
eye.
shooting
It's a good
shit.
thing with your glasses.
And we have to read somebody up in her.
Mhm.
None of y'all, of course.
I was gonna say, come from.
We're
me,
going to
I'm
read
right.
anti-vaccine activist. I'm tired of this bullshit. 724 cases of measles have been... Oh, I'm sorry. It's 704. 24 is right behind you. Measles have occurred in the United States because of antivirus activists who actually had said... Y'all going to love this. Actually had said, well, the Brady Bunch supports us. Because the episode of the goddamn Brady Bunch, when the Brady Bunch all got meals, and said, I'm okay, how are you?
So
I'm
wait,
okay,
for
we
our
understand
for the
school."
millennials, what is the Brady Bunch?
Bitch,
Some people might not
You
know.
are not a millennial.
No, for the millennials.
They're ones.
For
Actually,
the
that's
millennials, the Brady
girl
Bunch
named Jade.
was a TV show produced by Sherwood Schwartz, and you can find it online on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Any time of the day. And the writer actually came out and said Sherwood Schwartz,
Mm-hmm.
grandson,
That's a tongue
Mhm.
twister.
came out and said, okay,
It's
you
big.
know what? It's a TV show. And no, measles aren't okay. And poor Maureen. Girl, y'all are worrying. Marsha.
Marsha.
And she said, look, I don't know what in the hell is going on, but guess what? Of course, I'm paraphrasing her interview. Guess what? Measles are not cute. So, measles lead to blindness, pneumonia. Girl, they all
That
kinds of
being
shit.
said,
Can I?
diarrhea is not cute. Measles is a serious life-threatening issue.
Exactly.
Have you had diarrhea? When
I
you
have.
have
It's not cute.
diarrhea, is not cute.
It's
But
not cute.
It is not
It leads
cute.
to
But it won't make you blind.
the swelling of the brain, measles, in children
Mm-hmm.
or adults, the swelling of the brain, measles isn't something to play with. So it's too late to vaccinate your motherfucking kids now because they're spreading the measles. So everybody needs to get vaccinated from now on, adults as well, because it's extremely contagious.
Mm-hmm.
So go down.
Wow,
to
I thought
your-
this was a fun segment.
bitch.
I'm gonna throw this in
about
here.
measles.
I'm gonna throw this in here. Dear gay and lesbian couples who are having children, don't listen to heterosexuals. Get your kids vaccinated. Do not let them get measles like heterosexuals. I don't know why heterosexuals are doing all this stuff. Do not listen to heterosexuals. As much as we just got gay marriage in 2015. And now we have some of the rights, not a lot, but some of the rights. And you can adopt kids and do that and you can have kids on your own. So here's the proper way to raise your kids. Get them vaccinated.
Definitely get your
Get
children
them vaccinated.
No.
If one of your kids turns out to have autism, okay, that's fine. You can live with that.
There's no
You're
correlation.
not going to a funeral because your child died of
But
measles.
Joel, let me say this: there's no actual
There's no
medical
correlation.
correlation from a vaccination
That's
to
propaganda.
autism in children. It's all
Autism is something you're born
just-
with. You don't
Yeah,
develop
exactly.
it.
You don't develop autism. Autism is something you're born with, and that's what it is.
Yeah. So,
Baseless
Jenny McCarthy,
propaganda.
God love you. Kiss my ass.
Bitch.
She's an
Privilege
activist. She's an
of kissing
activist.
random
Oh, by the way,
guys.
Jenny McCarthy, die of measles.
Oh my god.
No, girl.
Die of
Maybe you can't
measles.
Stop
I don't
saying
wish
that.
anyone
I
to
don't
die.
know.
No, I'm sorry.
Maybe
You've
not
all-
die, but like
I'm
try it
sorry.
You don't
out.
have to edit
Because
that
of
shit.
your
That's
because
cool.
of your program, you allowed children to die. So Jenny McCarthy,
Look, she was
parents
not. She did not mean.
Jesus.
She did not mean ill
You
will.
don't have to.
no, she meant it. Die
She did not-
of
hey,
measles.
girl, stop saying
Hey,
that.
she did
That's
not mean
cool.
ill will.
No, she didn't mean it well.
She's
She's
ugly as fuck,
Ellen For-
but
I wouldn't say she was ugly.
She's ugly as fuck, and
I
she
mean, I
should
had to-
die of measles.
Tatum,
I'm
you
about
stop
to
saying
bet you
that is going dark,
someone
y'all.
is getting drunk.
I'm
Guess
not
what?
drunk.
Guess what? You must
Die of measles, Jenny
Girl,
McCarthy.
cut this mic.
Drinky.
Okay, well, so
the comedy portion of
Stop saying that.
of this balls
so
deep section, Chris.
You
so
said it 4 times, girl. You're in trouble.
Chris,
Let me say it 5
I did
times.
something.
Die of measles, Jenny
somebody
McCarthy.
cut his mic.
Die of measels. I said it 5 times and now I'm done.
Okay, fine.
I did something interesting
his
this
balls deep,
weekend.
Chris.
What did you do this weekend?
I went to see Doomsday Wrestling.
What?
What is that?
It's a wrestling troupe in Houston.
A wrestling troupe.
A comedy.
Joel, you better
wrestling
edit
troupe.
that part.
It was in Market Square Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was cool. There was a wrestler, Hot Flash. She is. She's like 50. Yeah.
She's got to be postmenopausal.
She was retiring, so it was her last match, and she was wrestling against Chester Assassin, who I was hoping would be hotter. I mean, he's probably more your type.
Hey, Chris, can you take me to that? Because I would like to see that.
I
wanna go to that as well.
I fucking invited you to it months ago, and you fucking said
No, I did not.
I was not invited.
yes, next time.
Can you take me to that?
No,
'Cause
So,
Let's
do you
go.
like wrestlers?
By the way-
I fucking love wrestlers, but this is more like a comedy match. The
Wow.
wrestling thing is
Just
not.
satire.
It's not a full wrestling thing. It's
Mm.
like
What is it called?
It's a mini Doomsday Wrestling.
Is it like a?
It's
Houston.
Houston. It is
Is
Houston
it
based.
live RPG kind of like?
What do you mean by that?
What is it?
this is Houston based. I
Not
like
live
this.
RPG.
What the fuck is coming out of your mouth?
No, when all those nerds get together in the park and they like
No,
medieval
no,
times
I'm
Wrestling.
sorry. When all who gets together in the
Nerds.
The live, yes, the live RPG. Yes,
yes.
No, it's
Girl.
wrestling.
Okay.
It's
he went
wrestling.
with he used
He
a
said
slur.
nerds. Oh,
When
it's
all
not
the
a slur.
nerds get
You
together
call
in the
yourself
park.
a nerd all the time.
I think nerds are
If
hot.
somebody else calls you a nerd, it's a slur.
So
I'm also a
we
nerd.
could have
That's
this. We can
cool.
have them on our show for sure.
I would love that.
We want to find a gay one.
The
We need like
wrestlers,
Liberace.
the wrestlers.
We need candelabra, chest hair.
I did. There's no. Okay, well, I have a certain type, but there's no hot wrestlers. But actually, you guys
That's
might
not
find
true.
them.
We talked about earlier.
I know.
Hotness is
Charles,
subjective.
I think that you would probably find them hot.
Well, Charles
I
would,
think-
because he's
I
a
think-
fucking whore.
I think Charles would
I'm also a
find
chubby
them.
chaser.
Well, Chester Assassin was not necessarily chubby. He was kind of in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scale. It's a spectrum. I like
he
a
was,
certain BMI
What
and
kind of
lower.
BMI? I'm intrigued by your BMI.
With it-
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there's a certain amount of hang with the middies, you know.
What do you like to
Wait.
hang with the middies? What does that even mean, Lord?
Middies for
Yeah, what's
for,
a midi?
What is
middies are
hang?
man titties.
Oh, God.
Oh God!
So if you have developed
be
a
nice.
midi, then
I don't have
if there's
middies.
enough for it,
You
I
don't
don't
have-
have
middies.
Mine are right
Randy,
here.
Those
Can
are not
Look,
tits.
look,
Wait,
mine
those
are
are
right.
not.
My
No,
tits
no,
is
no,
right
no.
here.
Those are
They're
not man
middies.
titties.
Those are not
Randy-
man titties.
Randy, can I tell you this?
Anything.
When I was going to the store and I was going to pick up a bag of ice, and I saw a man
Cubes.
with
Cubes.
the man titties,
I
and
don't
I
think
mean
those
they
man
were
titties. No.
I don't have man
huge.
titties.
They were huge, and I'm like,
No, I have a chest.
Man titties are like,
Ugh.
down.
There's nothing wrong with that.
there's nothing
But
wrong
we're
with
not
it.
body shaming anyone.
You know what I have to
Sorry.
say? You know what I have to say about that? Ass and titties, ass and titties, ass titties.
I don't know what that
titties,
means.
ass, and titties.
Right.
I know what that means.
Well, you gotta put your.
But see, there's no.
Oh,
there's no
we're
drop.
all showing our chests.
By the
Oh,
way,
yes.
You have done
Wait,
some.
you said you didn't have any hair on your body, but there's fucking hair.
There's fucking a lot of hair.
That's hair.
Turtle.
That is hair.
What
Okay,
are
Joe.
these man titties?
I know, right? That is hair.
There's no titty there.
You are not a bear. There's hair right
I
there.
don't want to be a bear.
No, you're a bear.
You're a bear.
You're a bear.
He is a bear.
Harry Wubby is a bear.
He's
I
a
didn't
polar
realize how
bear.
cold it was until I let my turtle.
We can see that now. You're cutting glass.
Okay, for the audience,
The nipples.
For the audience,
Joe just lifted up his shirt, and we're observing his body.
Yeah, exactly.
My nipples are bigger than yours.
Yeah. Well,
no, they're not. Actually,
they're
you're
not.
the,
My areolas are smaller, but my nipples are
Okay,
bigger.
guys.
you guys have the
Guys,
same size areolas.
No.
Yes, you do.
That is definitely
Yes,
a
you
quarter.
do.
This is
No,
definitely
I
a
have,
dime.
I have a nickel.
Okay, Joe, your turn.
I have a nickel.
My turn. What?
Oh, that felt good though. It was nice.
Show your
to
sharing
share.
area.
I'm not doing that.
There's nothing wrong.
I'll
with
show you
your
mine.
Okay,
nickel.
well, I
yours.
guess. Okay, if everybody's doing it,
Oh,
so oh,
Now,
Come on,
y'all-
pepperoni nipples.
Y'all,
My mind's on
I-
pepperoni.
here we go. Oh, judgment! Let the judgment begin. There you go.
Oh, that's
Oh,
definitely pepperoni. Pepperoni.
Okay, so he's got $50.
What's
Small
the half
pepperoni.
dollar?
$50. That's a $50
So
size.
Randy's
Yeah,
going
well,
to
I
a
have-
quarter.
I have great.
Where's your quarter? I got a dime.
Do you like my nipples?
I don't have
Honestly, I
pecs.
great
I'm
nipples.
sorry.
It's
I don't
it's
really
fine.
feel one way
It's-
or the other about nipples.
I was born.
It's passable.
I was born skinny, and I don't have that. I'm sorry.
Don't have
I
that.
was born very skinny, and I do not have. You guys have
All right.
definition under yours.
Yeah,
No
I have
definition.
definition. No, actually, he doesn't have anything under there. But I have definition because
I mean,
I
you-
used to work in a warehouse.
But my
So,
but my pecs are much.
Oh my
bigger than
god,
that.
you're flexing! Oh my god, that's super hot!
I love.
Okay, everyone, Randy is bouncing his pecs, and it's fucking
Okay, wait a minute.
amazing.
He's flexing
Okay.
his pectoral muscle.
3 of the 4 have shown theirs. What about yours?
Come on, bird chest. Let's go.
Fine.
And we have found the quarter.
Oh my god!
those are definitely.
Can I point something out here?
It's like this
Those
little
are
pyramid of
small
chest hair.
pepperonis, and they're
Can I
cute.
point something out here for everybody who is listening to
just
this?
need a penny.
You have very.
He
Yeah,
has,
don't touch me!
I'm not touching you. He has a square here, a triangle here, and look at that.
I mean, it's like a
A
pyramid.
triangle.
And I have
It's a
triangle.
triangle of hair.
And I have gray body hair.
If I could illustrate this for
Where?
our listeners,
Gray?
all
Where?
over the place.
That's so gray.
it
No,
looks.
there's gray all over
No,
the
there
place.
is.
Okay,
It looks
I
like
can
the.
show mine.
It
There's
looks like
gray.
the Disney.
Can you see the
It
gray?
looks like the
No, I
Disney
don't see
Palace.
gray. Oh yes,
I
I
see
do.
gray.
I do.
There's
Yes.
a little bit of gray. And I got more hair than everybody in this room.
Wait,
I
what?
literally
No.
have more. Yes.
Chris's
I
hair
have hair that goes all
looks
the
like
way
the
down
Disney
here.
Palace.
Wait, who's the hairiest?
Chris's hair looks like the Disney Palace.
It does look
Like,
yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It looks like a Disney
It looks like the Disney Palace.
It looks like a Disney Palace.
Like I could just see it, like the stars coming around.
All right, we're all talking to the same.
Oh my
time.
God! It's official. I'm the hairiest guy in this room.
And you
Counting
thought I
facial
was
hair,
hairy.
definitely.
I am the hairiest.
Wait, but I have hair like on my arms right
Yeah,
now.
but I
On the
have
back of your
hair
arm on your back.
all the way down.
Not really.
I'm the hairiest
Sure.
armed person.
Hair here.
Joe has, Randy
I
has
have
much
stomach
much
hair.
I
I have
think,
all this.
but Randy got
hair.
like arm hair.
Randy
You
has
don't really
much-
have a lot of arm hair. I'm sure
Not
he's
a
got
lot.
leg.
No, I don't have a lot of.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I
I mean, I have a
have
little bit of arm hair.
I'm the I'm officially the hairiest guy in the
So
room.
wait, what
No,
do you
I
guys
think
about?
it's Randy.
What do y'all think about
No.
body hair?
I love body hair.
Mm.
I prefer the fluff, but the
Wherever
fuzz
I can
generally
get
comes
it.
with the fluff.
When-
So
I think
All right,
it's I think
all
it's
right.
an acquired taste. So
sometimes
give
I'm
me
like
other
hairball,
things.
like
All right, let's go around the room quietly. We're all talking at the same time now.
I know.
So we need to do this. This question was, what do we think about body hair? And Joe,
I love body hair. However, not too much on the back. I have seen guys with like super hairy backs, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? This is, you are Yeti like, and I'm like, no. So I like chest hair, and I do like a little bit of back hair, but not too much.
okay, and
Pinky's vote on body hair is like I could really leave it, but generally, given the guys that I prefer to run with and lay with, the fluff comes with the fuzz. So I have to,
what is? I'm sorry. What does fluff mean?
fluff is like if you think of like a marshmallow, like a fluff is the heft,
Oh,
and then the fuzz
the
is
fluff
obviously
is how big
the fur.
somebody is. Yeah.
Oh wait,
And-
I'm confused.
Like if you say a guy is fluffy, he's like pleasantly plump, he's chubby.
oh, I thought you meant like
I
hair.
think you went.
No, that's fuzz. The fluff comes
Oh,
with fuzz
shit.
generally,
Wow.
but
Is this your own
I can leave it.
terminology?
Yes, 100%
So-
my
Got it.
interpretation.
So, Chris, your idea of how much hair, how much not hair?
It's an acquired taste, but yeah, I think body hair's hot. It can be gross.
Mm-hmm.
It just
At
depends.
what point is it gross?
It just
When you
depends.
can't
It
see their
depends-
skin
It depends on
anymore.
the person. It
Mhm.
really does. Like sometimes a lot of body hair, a lot of chest hair is super hot.
I love a lot of
It
chest
really
hair.
depends on the
Oh
person.
my God.
Well, it's
But
my
you can't
turn.
see their
Okay,
skin
all right,
underneath it.
bitches, it's my turn. So, let me say how
thought
I
you went
feel.
already.
No, not really. All right, here we go. I love hair anywhere I can find it, but especially there's a place on the small of a man's back that it's sort of a rarity, and a patch.
I'll
like
give you that.
Wait,
above
right
the
here?
ass cheeks, yes.
Yeah, like right there.
Above the
that's
ass cheeks.
actually that's not bad. I
That's
like
not
that.
a rarity,
Honest.
bitch.
It is
It is
rare.
rare.
It is rare.
It is rare.
The smaller
It's
the back,
very
rare.
rare.
And that ass, right above the ass cheek, like that.
I think it might be the person at the table who
Oh,
asked
I
that.
love it.
It's
I love
the,
it.
I
only,
have
it's the
that.
only place
I
on the
love
body
it.
that I think a guy has fur
and
because it's really
and
soft.
I love a hairy chest. And
Who likes a hairy ass? I'm not
I
sure.
love a hairy ass. I was
I'm not
just
sure
about
if
to
I
say that.
understand the hairy ass.
I was just about to say that. I love a hairy.
No.
Like I said, I
Thank
like
you.
hair wherever I can find it, but especially when there's no hair on a man's body, and light hair on a man's body, and then you get that small of the back triangle
Okay,
of
why
hair.
do you like hair wherever you can find it? What is it about hair that you like?
There's a man underneath it, and that's what I like about hair. It just turns me on. I don't know. I love armpit hair, and that's why
Ooh,
Pinky
that
earlier.
makes me-
That's why Pinky
Man
earlier
smell.
when he lifted his arm up and there's no armpit. What do you shave your
There
armpits?
is armpit hair there.
I'm disturbed
really.
by
Mhm.
shaved
There is.
armpits.
There's just the right amount.
No.
Shaved
There's
armpits
enough to keep me
disturb
from
me
being-
because I love I love men.
And that's wonderful because they're not shaved.
I think that's all there is to it. I just love men. But armpit
An
hair is a
intoxicating
real,
man smell.
really great thing.
Pinky, I'm gonna say this. I think it's cute that you are smooth, but it's
Just
not
them.
for
It's like-
me. I like the idea.
It's
I
an
wish you-
evolutionary thing.
I wish you had if you had just a little bit of hair.
I think Pinky is right, actually.
It's
if
an
you-
evolutionary.
Yeah, it is, and it's.
I don't need the extra.
It's not
hair.
evolutionary.
We are like
It's hereditary.
We're behind on the evolutionary scale.
Hair is developed.
I mean,
to
he's
protect the
hairless.
body.
He's got ADHD. I mean, kind of, right?
By the way, he has the most fabulous hair on the top of his head.
I have all the hair that counts.
But when it comes to the hair,
I'm jealous.
oh wait, does
You
this
used to have
mean
hair
that?
like
Wait,
that. I used
does
to
this
have
mean that
curls
because
like
you're
that.
hairless, that the bush is pretty full down there?
Well, yeah. I mean, I said I have it everywhere it counts.
So the bush is pretty full.
Yeah.
Why does it
I
feel
don't want to
like-
see anything.
Because I like a full bush.
It's
Talking
like
about
a
his-
Spidey sense.
Oh, I like
Sunny
a
Bush
full bush.
penis?
It's like a
Don't
Spidey.
say penis in my presence. I like
Penis!
dick or cock.
Mine
No, I
is
love-
actually a
oh.
cock.
You know what?
You have
He
all
has
these
a
words
cock.
I can't
He has a
say.
cock.
I have a cock.
He's a redneck,
Not-
honey.
not-
He definitely has a cock. But here's the thing.
Pubes are much
I
redder than my
I
hair
love
is.
a full set of pubic hairs, and please don't shave your balls.
Yeah,
I don't
and
want
please
to
don't.
shave
It's
your
just
don't do that.
dangerous.
It's
That's for your
dangerous.
own
I think it's
personal
good.
Shave
No,
your
but I think it's good
asshole.
to trim.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I have a-
sometimes it can be a little
Over.
over.
I like over.
Manscaped for
Really?
sure. Like manicure yourself.
But
like
what
I
is
like
Manscaped.
over.
But what
I
is-
love hair.
But what does
hairy
that mean,
men.
though? Manscaping.
Well,
what does that mean?
Even if you just brush it, like
Well, I don't want
hair
my pubes
falls
to
out.
overgrow my penis when it's flaccid.
hair.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want my pubes to be bigger than my penis.
Yes.
Right. Well,
So
Mm-hmm.
but
when it's flaccid,
Although I don't have to worry about that,
Y'all
so I'm
just
not
love
worried.
Penis.
it's a natural process for
In
your
my
hair to
presence,
like
just
once.
to piss me off.
And they are. Y'all, everybody's using penis just to get under their
Right?
skin.
I swear.
But hair grows to a certain length
Mm-hmm.
and falls out. So if you don't
Is
take
that
care
what
of it, if you
it
don't
does?
manicure it, where do you think you get
I
a
was
pube
always
in your mouth
curious.
from? That you didn't feel that pube
See,
being pulled out.
I
If someone
find
pulls one
that
strand of your hair
I
out, you feel
love
it,
that.
right?
I love that sensation when I get a pube
Like-
in my mouth.
When you
Can
have
I-
to pick it out of the back
can
of your
I
throat,
say
that's
this?
the worst.
It's no. I know how to deal with it.
Can I say this?
I know
I
how
am
to deal
looking
with
at-
a pube on my tongue, and I don't know.
All that means
at
is you
all.
didn't shower thoroughly. You didn't shampoo your
All I
crotch.
can say is that
That's not true.
If you didn't get the loose hairs that have fallen out, that are just tangled up in
Mhm.
your pubes, you didn't take care
sometimes
of it.
when you suck a dick, your teeth get hold of a hair and pull it out.
I think,
If I
a
go-
man is hotter when he doesn't manscape because he's just like,
yeah, exactly.
here I am, here I am.
Mhm.
Don't
That's
manscape.
That's
but-
me.
But I
Manicure yourself.
always take a shower.
Mhm.
I do
How
the
often do you have a guy?
I
have
do
a
the
pube stuck in his
candlelit
throat?
shower before I have sex with any man.
Wait, you have
Oh,
a
I'm
candlelit
glass
shower.
of tequila.
Yes, Queen.
Yes.
I'm not
You've never done
sucking
that?
a dick.
Oh my god.
I clean it myself.
Can I
Wait,
can I tell you
I clean
this?
it myself.
There's nothing like a man who is
You
and
actually
this has
shower?
happened. There's nothing like a man who's like been working on the car or been working in the garden.
I'll give you that. Those work
And
hands.
they
Ooh,
have
I
that
love
little
that
bit,
fucking
and they have that
sweat.
little bit of sweat, and
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
fucking love sweat.
oh my god.
I
Oh,
haven't-
I
I'm
love
sorry, I do.
it.
I
I
love
love
it.
it.
I
I
you can't
love
say
it.
anything.
Man
Nothing wrong with
smell,
that.
I will.
I
get up all
love.
in that.
Oh, I will.
I like my man smell.
I like them sweaty and smelly.
Yeah,
There are very
exactly.
few other
Okay,
man
all
smells
right.
that I appreciate.
I'll
But
tell you
at-
all this. since
Okay,
we're-
that's fun.
Nobody's listening, but
I'm
us.
not doing that.
But wait, let me.
But
tell
I'm
you-
not doing
let me
that
tell you
if they've
something.
been like not showered for 3 days. I'm
All
not
right, let
doing
me
Well,
that.
tell you
no,
something.
that's not cool.
All right, y'all. Let me tell you something. Since we're talking and nobody else can hear us, I'll tell you a story.
Ooh.
Oh,
The
Story
first
time.
man that I ever thought I was in love with, Maury Connor. I hope you're out there and listening.
Oh my God.
All he did,
Lawsuit.
Maury.
MAURY?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
All he did was lift weights and paint.
That's hot.
He was an artist. All he did was lift weights and paint. And so when I got to when I would come over and have sex with him, he would have.
So he
would
did
take
a little
shower.
more than that.
No,
That's
we
still
would take a
weightlifting.
shower. We would take a shower together, but his sweat. After that, he would go and work out, and he would have clean sweat, and so licking his balls was fabulous.
It's
because
just man smell without the
clean
funk.
sweat, man sweat.
Funk is different than man smell.
Just like you were saying.
I have a
No,
marvelous
you
man
said
smell.
the same thing.
I don't like 3-day funk. I like Monday funk.
No, you
Right,
said the
that's
same
man smell.
thing. Man smell.
It's different than
I
funk.
agree with you.
Yes.
Like if you're gross and
Mm.
like you have just continued to let that go unchecked,
No.
like that's yucky.
Don't let it go.
Like I have a man smell. Like
You
That
don't
is
smell.
not.
Wait, really?
You have
I have a little bit of.
Shit.
I have a little bit of
my
deodorant,
gosh.
but like
I smell fucking deodorant.
exactly, I put deodorant on, and I've been here since I got out of the shower, basically. But like,
Yeah,
I will go
there's
out
nothing wrong
and
with that.
like.
I'm glad you
Hey,
stuck
let's
your
smell
nose
everyone's
up.
armpit.
But I
I'm
had a
glad
guy.
you stuck your nose up in there.
What does
I'm
your
not.
armpit smell like?
My armpit smells like deodorant.
I was gonna say, but I had a guy when I worked at the
Deodorant.
Eagle in
I love
Dallas.
deodorant.
I had
You
a
love
guy.
deodorant?
My name is deodorant. Deodorant Purvis.
Oh my god,
Deodorant Purvis. No, we've already gone to deodorant.
Hey, make me a drink, bitch.
But you meant please, sir. Can I have some more?
Please let me have some
I
more.
actually don't mind when he calls me
Oh,
What, deodorant? Or...
awkward.
Make me a drink, bitch.
Oh, see?
But no, I mean, I used to work at the Eagle in Dallas, and part of the protocol and part of your uniform was not wearing deodorant because of the fetish clientele.
Really?
Deodorant was an offensive thing to put on. You couldn't
Well-
wear deodorant. You couldn't wear cologne.
No,
It was
no cologne. I don't like
no cologne, no
cologne.
deodorant. And I had a guy. I mean, and I worked. I was a barback, so I busted my ass. I was fucking like, I showered right before I came there because there was no way I was gonna make it through a whole day without wearing deodorant. But like, I showered right before I came to work, not so that I was clean to work, but so that I didn't smell like deodorant. And I had a guy, you know, and it never failed. Like every Friday, Saturday night, come 11:30, you know, somewhere between 11:30 and 12:45, and this guy would just mash his whole face in my armpit, and like at that point, like I had been working hard, like I had smell going on, like BO,
Mm-hmm.
and like I've never been like a super smelly person because I don't have the hair.
Mm-hmm.
My man smell develops differently.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know that hair had anything to do with it.
It is
Hair
100%.
does, for on a certain level, it brings out, that smell. Oh,
Oh,
It's the-
now
it's the
listen,
tinge,
listen.
then. It's
I
the
do
tinge to
love,
the
I
man
do
smell.
love a man's smell, and I actually, girl.
mm.
All right, we're
I
going
like
back
the
to
smell of my
Greenville. We're
taint.
going back to Greenville, girl.
Can I tell a story real
Oh,
quick?
anything.
Taint smell
gonna
is
tell-
wonderful.
The best thing oh my God, the best sex I ever had. I was house sitting for a friend of mine, and the gardener was out. The gardener was out doing his thing. He
That's
was
funny.
mowing the lawn and doing all this
I love where
stuff
it's
and
going.
everything else. And I've been house sitting for a month, so we have talked back and forth. But I never thought of him. Honestly, I never thought of him in a sexual way.
Why
I just
not?
never. I don't know why. I just never did.
Was he? Cute?
We were just. He was cute.
I
Don't get
just
me
love
wrong.
where it's going.
But he. By the way, he had a fantastic body. He was 6'5". He was out there mowing the grass.
6'5".
Yes, he was out there
And you
mowing
never
the grass.
noticed?
No, I never noticed because I was
It's
busy.
like, there's a giant in the backyard.
I was busy house sitting for
There
some
was a
friends.
fucking giant in the back.
And-
You're house sitting, like,
And
you
he
shouldn't
comes-
be noticing people in the backyard.
And he comes into the house, and I'm sitting in the living room. I'm watching TV. I'm sitting in the living room. He comes into the house after he's done in the backyard, and I have to have a check ready for him, sitting on top of the bar. So I have a check ready for him, and he comes in, and we're talking, and everything else. And he's like, "Oh, it's so hot! It's so hot outside!" And he takes off his shirt,
Oh.
What are you doing?
and I saw the most incredible. He was big. He had these muscles,
Oh,
and he had a
fuck
little bit of a
yes.
belly,
Oh,
but
yes.
no 6'5". And he's 6'5", and he takes off his shirt because he's wiping off his brow, and he's talking to me.
Holy fuck.
And we were
This
talking.
is like a fantasy of mine.
I know, and we were talking, and the next thing I know, we were on the couch having sex.
Wait,
and I
what?
don't even know how this happened. I
You're
don't even
not
know
a very
how
good
it
house
happened.
sitter, Joel.
I don't even know how it happened.
Wait, is
He's
this guy
literally
straight?
There are lapses of time missing from this. Like, anyone
He's
could
not
walk out
straight
with
if he had
TV.
his dick in his ass. He's not straight now.
Wait, what? Who was
Straight to the
fucking
next
who?
man.
I'm.
It was Jesus.
I would love for this story to be about him fucking me, but I was fucking him.
Well,
And he was.
I mean, so he could be. I mean, any dude likes to get.
I know,
fucked.
but you
You're
know,
not truly gay if you don't like
but the
both.
sex was fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
this man's legs went up in the air, and I
Yeah.
went to
Wait,
hell.
okay, I'm curious. How did you get him onto the bed?
I don't.
It was the couch.
Like I said, I had the check ready for him when he came in, and we were talking, and we were talking about little.
When
and he-
was this?
Oh, this was a long time ago, and we were talking and everything else, and he's like, "So, what are you watching on TV?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm just watching whatever."
This is a fucking.
So
And
he,
then
was,
we
he was
start-
watching you inside the house.
And then he sat on the
hated
couch
you.
with me while we were watching TV, and then somehow or another we started talking, and we were having a good time, and then suddenly he just reached over and kissed me, and I'm like, what is going on? He is kissing me. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to go down.
it seems like less organic.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Like,
It
one
was-
thing did not lead to another. I feel like he was after you.
No, this is hot as fuck.
But
It doesn't diminish the
It
hotness
sounds
factor
like
at
a
all.
But I
Sounds
was,
like a what?
A pornographer.
A what?
Pornographer.
You ain't never heard no pornographer.
Pornography.
Don't you watch some
I
pornographer?
don't know what you're
Oh,
saying.
they have to say it like that in Conroe.
Pornographer.
Right.
Joel, help me.
That's how gays speak in Conroe.
all I know is that it was,
No, it's a different language almost. It's a dialect.
Pornographer.
all
So
I
you
know.
doing that.
Only
Y'all
if you're
just doing
gay
that for fun.
can you
I'm gonna
understand.
have
Yes.
nightmares.
Poor Chris. He doesn't understand what I say when I say pornography.
No, I got what you said, but
Damn
why are you saying
millennials.
it like that?
They have no idea what
It's
being
fun
in
to say
hiding
it
is
that
about.
way.
Mhm.
It
Because
sounds like a
Southern people-
I'm gonna
pornography.
talk more about this
Because
hot
Southern
episode
people
with
can't
this
talk.
hot dude.
Southern people can't talk about sex like that.
Exactly.
They can't talk about the fact that they
Bitch, I
watch
can talk about
pornography.
anything.
I'm from Ohio, bitch.
Pornography on the internet. They say pornography.
Pornographer.
I was watching a little bit
you
of-
know I'm joking.
It's like a bush, like conifer.
Ow, I just stubbed
Wow, that
All I
sounds,
know is that
Joe,
trying
that
to-
sounds fucking hot as fuck.
it was dizzying sex. I don't even. We were all over the
I
place.
can't even
We had
imagine
sex
it. I
all
told you
over
the
the.
stories
We
with
had
me.
sex in the bathroom on the counter.
Wait,
I
what?
had him on the counter. I had him on the counter.
Oh,
He was just trying to get that chick.
With
Come
his
on,
legs
This is
up
like
in the
this
air.
is like Fatal Attraction, but there's no fatal.
There's no fatal.
Oh, but this is Gail you're
It
talking
would have been
to.
fatal if
Keep it
whoever he was
real.
house sitting for it showed up.
But I
Keep
never.
it real.
But the sad thing is, I never saw him again.
Why is that sad? That's good.
That's good.
That's the
He
best sex
stopped.
you've ever had in your life.
He
That's
stopped.
what's called a
I
trip.
wanted to see him again.
Wait, is
Girl,
he gay?
It wouldn't have been as good.
I have no
It would have ruined
idea.
everything.
Wait, I missed the first part because I was.
I have no idea.
Bro, you didn't miss the first part.
I have no idea
You were
if he
babysitting?
was gay
He
or
was house sitting.
bisexual or anything. I never saw him
Are we
again.
about to have an orgy? In
He was
here?
horny.
No.
All I know is
Heavens
that
no. What
the next
hell?
week after
I feel like having a.
There's
all I
orgy.
know is that the next
Girl,
week
no orgies.
that the lawn was supposed to be, because I was there for a month.
He's like,
He was supposed to be coming over to do the gardening. He never showed up again, and I don't understand why he didn't show up again.
Well,
and I
because
was
you
really
fucked
upset.
him.
because his butt hurt.
Because his
Literally.
butt hurt.
All right. You know what?
He was not up for that
I don't
again.
know what to say.
He had
to
not
that.
recuperated fully at that point.
Are
But the Jeffersons
we're done.
never.
We are
They needed
at,
a new
I think we're done.
We
I think
are
this
done.
episode is done.
We
You know
gotta
what?
be sticking a fork in us.
But I would like to say that this episode, thank
Was-
you, Randy, for being back.
Mm.
You know, girl,
I
I'm out
had
here.
your
Yes, everybody,
craziness.
Randy,
everybody.
do not leave me with these bitches again.
Exactly.
I can't take it.
I had
Because
the
we were
craziness.
worried that you weren't coming back, bitch. We were
I know,
worried.
and I was-
we had a Randy moment, and we
We had a Randy
No, I
moment.
was-
we thought you
was-
gotten chopped up.
actually trapped.
No, we didn't
so-
thought that you got chopped up. We just thought that you didn't want to come back and do the show
Oh,
anymore.
wow.
I thought it was
Welcome
Chris.
back.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
leave it to Pinky.
I always want to see y'all.
Always
But
I
Randy-
get that a lot.
But bitches, Randy is back in full force. This is Joel and Randy's Texas Tea. So why would he not be here?
Exactly.
And
We're gonna say good
No,
night.
wait. This is Chris's Joel and Randy's Texas Tea.
bitch,
I
don't-
bought you motherfuckers out.
Yeah.
He did not.
no, he did
Anyone
not.
out there from legal?
I
he
mean,
did
it's
not.
my
That did not
fantasy.
He did not. But
I can fantasize. Can't
Somebody's now. Now we're two down on the drinky count. Two of them are having hallucinations.
I don't think
They
I've ever
all
se-
drinky.
by the way,
Um,
can I say this? I don't think I've Chris, who's always been the I gotta go, got stuff to do, blah blah blah. He is on the drinky side. Look at him.
Yo,
Yay!
we're blessed to have
Everybody, yes.
Y'all, we saying goodnight. We're saying
Wait,
goodnight.
you're clapping because I'm an alcoholic?
I'm
No,
clapping
you're
because
not
you're
an
drunk,
alcoholic.
bitch.
You know what? Let's close the show, Joel.
After
The show is.
after
The
his drink got done being
show
I'm
is.
sad.
there
Let's
was no
go for
alcohol
2
in it.
hours.
The show is done. No, we can't do 2 hours.
He's that
Girl, we
drinky
closed.
because I
Girl,
tricked
we
him.
closed.
I told him there was no alcohol in his drink, and then
Girl.
he went and added more.
Can we just sit around and just talk and have a good time after the show?
Blessings.
Are we just the show?
I haven't.
No,
I didn't even get to
blessed.
do my gay comedy.
All right, you know what? You
Can
know
we
what?
do gay comedy on
No!
your next
I
I think
episode?
an hour and
Can we
45
do it on the
minutes
next
until-
episode?
Samuel and I are going to do comedy, and I
Who's
have some
Samuel?
gay I wanted to try my jokes out on y'all.
Wait, Samuel, is that the guy that was at?
Yes.
Yes, we need
I
that.
have all sorts of guests to come on.
Why don't you
So
have
next
Samuel
week,
Next week. Let's
Next
have
week,
Samuel on the
Heads up,
show.
y'all, gay comedy is coming.
But I'm
Does
gonna have.
Samuel have a
teabag
large
gay
one?
comedy.
Here's the
And
problem.
Does he have hair?
I don't know. I've never had sex with Samuel.
Does he have hair right there above his
Why are
ass
you
cheeks?
thinking I would know this? You're the one who fucked him.
Samuel?
Did you, Randy?
I don't know this man from Adam.
You might have.
I might.
Randy has been with thousands of men. He might
Well, I
have.
have been with us.
The only person at the table who's been with more men than I have.
Wow.
Wow.
I've been with the less men.
We're
I've
rocking,
been with-
we're rocking
I've been
Gene
with
Simmons
less men,
numbers.
too.
There's
No,
nothing
no,
wrong with being a
I'm the
fucking rock
less.
star.
I'm the least. I'm the least.
All right.
Nobody wants to sleep with Chris. Is what
All
he's trying
right.
to say.
Goodbye,
No.
everybody.
Everyone.
We're signing off now.
Zing!
We're signing off.
Hey, I'm a
now.
hot motherfucker.
Joel's got a lot to edit.
Like a stolen
I don't
car.
have
He's hot.
anything to edit.
I'm hot.
Good.
This shit is
We're
good.
signing- We're signing. And you are hot.
By the way,
Like a stolen car.
thank you for listening to the show. We had a good time.
We love you
We
guys.
hope you had a good time.
We hope you had a good time. I am sitting here with Miss Randy, Miss Pinky, Mr. Chris, because he's nasty.
He's an alley cat, and I love
He
him.
is a nasty. And by the
And
way,
sweeties, if you're not feeling right, please do something to help yourself.
Steal a car. Give
It's
it Chris.
not. Yes. You do not deserve to feel. You deserve to feel awesome.
mhm.
Life is great. You deserve to feel like life is great.
And by the way, Randy, I want to say this. The reason why that we have Charles and Chris on the show is because we have a good time on the show.
Yes, indeed.
And it's
I thought
it's
it was
about
'cause y'all
being
were-
That was a
gay.
growler.
It's about being gay and having a good time and realizing that our lives are wonderful. We have wonderful lives. We have wonderful
Yes,
lives.
we really do.
Count the
We
wins.
really do.
There are more wins you have in a day
Mm-hmm.
than there are losses.
And the things I'm depressed about are honestly stupid.
And everybody shut the fuck up and let's close the show, please.
I've got one more thing
Have
to
mercy.
say.
What, Pinky?
Have mercy.
If you're not going to be good, be good.
Be
at
good
it.
at it.
I don't know what that means. I don't get it.
It means that if you're not going to be good,
I know
be good
that-
at whatever else
Is
you're
that a
doing.
term for sucking the
I
cock?
think that
I
I
don't
need.
get it.
Because you're not good at
I just saw your shirt
You're
that I
not
like it.
good, you know.
Be
If
good
you're not
at
going to
it,
be good,
but I
like
don't-
being good, like being good, behaving yourself. If you're not going to behave yourself, you're not going to be good.
I think this
Be
show
good
is.
at and misbehave.
Can I say this? I think this show is going into overtime because we are.
Yes,
But you don't get your ass
Yes,
off the
do it
chair.
overtime. No,
Overtime.
Facebook Live. Facebook Live. Facebook
No,
Live.
fuck that shit.
Facebook Live. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Facebook Live.
Overtime.
So this episode is done, and we're gonna go on Facebook Live. We're
Yes.
gonna
Not
get.
Facebook Live.
Yes,
Yes,
no,
we
that's
are.
what we do.
Well, I already have the makeup on, girl. So we're going. We're going on Facebook
I
Live.
wouldn't say all that make. I just put on a little powder.
But how will they hear us?
He's got the
I'm
camera.
going to connect the camera.
I gotta be.
Okay.
make a drink.
Facebook Live.
So I'm gonna.
I'm gonna go away.
Are you
I'm
going to
closing.
I'll get there before you get there. I'll get there before you get there.
We
Why
love
would
you
do
guys.
that to
No,
me?
get up.
So we're
Have
gonna.
a good week.
So we're gonna close the show, and we're gonna go on Facebook Live,
No,
and
go.
we're gonna
No,
do a little bit
go.
of the after show.
We love you guys.
We
Have a
love
good
you.
week. We will see you next
Love
week.
ya.
We'll see you next week.
Keep it
Come on,
together.
Live.
Keep it together, baby.
By the way,
You can do it.
everybody who's living in those small towns in the South, we love you.
And message us. We want to hear
Message
from
us. We
you.
want to hear from you.
We need to figure
We
out
do.
who you guys are.
Because we can farm you out and get you in
'Cause-
places. Chris has a room available.